being here. We're halfway done with our training class. This is Patrick, day 3, and today we've got some really cool stuff, compelling stuff to show you. It's forms, but it's also new technologies we've been working on to make your forms, your site, your SharePoint site, even more powerful using forms and AI. And today, a lot of new content. What's kind of interesting is that we're going to show you um, we're going to show you the forms. These are all forms, by the way, today. We're showing you forms that are built on top of the LM, AI technologies. And we have some innovations, some differentiators that we're going to highlight. Um, Before we get started, I just want to quickly go around the table and ask everyone how Lab 3 yesterday went. I know that we stopped before we didn't give you time to finish it. I know Hillary says she's gotten uh, receipts or emails from 6 or 7 of you with completion details. And I think that, Hillary, do you want to just go around the table and ask some of the people that did not email you how they're doing?
Okay. So because Alexander and Adrian have been called on first all their lives, I'm going to go ahead and go down towards the bottom of my list. And Caroline, your name is last name first for some reason. And I did not hear from you on the labs. Have you been doing okay on the labs? Everything's going all right on those?
I am actually auditing the class.
Oh, good.
You,
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to say that on day one because you didn't call on me, but
I'm so
that's
sorry.
okay. That's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, then I won't bother you about labs. And Scott completed his lab, so I won't bother Scott. I think Nima, you just sent me an email. Um, Niklesh, how about you? How are labs going for you?
Uh, Yesterday I didn't get chance to work on the lab 3.
That's fine.
I'll be finishing today most likely.
Yeah, that's perfect. And you guys know to reach out if you have trouble. Misty, I don't think I heard from you on labs from yesterday.
No, I had some work that I had to
Oh,
do,
you were
so I'll
doing
be.
actual
I was doing
job work?
actual work, and I have started. I just haven't finished yet, so
Okay,
I
but you
should
aren't
have
stuck on
everything.
anything. You
No,
aren't
no,
stuck
not
on
yet.
anything.
No, I'd
Okay,
let you know.
all right. Yeah, I
Thanks.
was gonna say, you know where to find me. All right, perfect. And I know Josh got his labs done. Irina, are you stuck on anything? Everything going okay on labs?
No, I haven't started yet. I was actually doing real work
Real
yesterday,
work?
so
Yes.
yeah, haven't
Okay,
started yet. Yeah, and I'm
I get
kind of
it.
getting sick also, so
Oh
need a little
no.
bit, yeah, a little bit time, I guess. Yeah, I will do them. It's just a matter
When you
of time.
can. When you
Yeah.
can. Absolutely. This is not, I'm sorry, you guys, this is sounding like I'm checking in a way of like your final grade depends on this. And I certainly don't mean it like that. I just want to make sure that if you have any questions or problems that we're pinging you. So Evan, I know finished his and Kathy, any sticking points for you on the labs? Have you had a chance to try them? Are you doing okay with them?
Sorry, I just turned on, was that addressed to me? I'm sorry, I just turned on my
Yeah.
headset.
That's okay. I
Um,
was just asking, yeah, if you were doing okay with the labs or if you needed or wanted any help with them. I'm gonna go with that. That sounds
I will reach out.
okay,
Thank you.
perfect. And let me see. I know Benjamin completed. I know Ali completed. Alexander, I'm pretty sure you're auditing the class, but did you need any help with labs? Doing okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
All right, perfect. And finally, Adrian, doing okay? Do you need any help with any of the steps in any of the labs?
No, I'm okay. I'm in the same boat
All
as
right.
Irina, though. I'm trying to do my day-to-day work here.
Your work. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. Okay, good. Just making sure nobody's being shy about reaching out if they need help, because, everybody needs help sometimes. So, all right. So there we did it. We went around and talked to everybody.
Thank you. Uh, yeah, and it was really fortuitous yesterday that you had that DB bug with the shredding error that Hillary fixed, because it showed how easy it is to debug shredding errors. And the reason why we do it that way is we don't ever want to fail to submit. We always want to get the XML data, store it in the database. It's in a completely different table. And then as your needs change on the shredding end, you can update the mapping, and then reshred. And that gives you a lot of flexibility as a form designer to go in after the fact and fix things. You don't have to get a mapping. You don't have to create a mapping up front. You can just get everything submitted and then create the mapping later. You can create a map. You can change your mapping based on the line of business application that you're mapping data to. So you can pull out different data, right? So it gives them more flexibility. And this was all kind of inspired by these Web 2.0 papers that were written in the early 2000s, and probably some of you, like Alex, would remember. But there was I think, a famous paper written by Amazon saying you never want to, so the whole idea is you never want to fail to submit because the customer might be getting on a plane or something, and so you always want to capture what they put in and store it somewhere. Now today, all the Web 3.0 stuff caches everything all the time, but this is kind of inspired by that original idea. We actually had the same idea, but not from them, and we did this DVXL thing back in 2005. We started working on it in 2004. We've had a tremendous number of customers adopt it. Microsoft at one point had 7 licenses internally before they stopped using InfoPath for a lot of their solutions. Then, of course, we kept pushing it forward with Forms. When we moved to Qdabra Forms, we just kept it, and it's been a huge scalability component. Most of the large-scale solutions need some storage where you can store data that is fast and has its reporting capabilities. And SharePoint just doesn't scale very easily. It does better now than it did before, but still it's got scale constraints, let's just say. And it's all around how they're rendering the views. They've made some major improvements over the years, but it's still a lot slower than SQL. And you saw it yesterday with the submit. Submitting to SQL is just instantaneous, and it's very easy to query it with filters. So any other questions on day 2? I saw some of your comments in chat. I went and read back. Alex, it's a great point about RESTful APIs. Why are we still looking at SOAP? It's because we have so many customers on DVXL that are using SOAP. So we want to support them. We're obviously adding RESTful APIs to DVXL in the near future. Hasn't been a huge priority, but we're definitely going to do that. Were there any other questions for me before we get started? Okay, so you finished the labs, or many of you did. We asked you about a few questions. So the first question is, and we're just going to quickly go around the table here and ask you how many prompts you send to your favorite AI bot a day, number, and whether you've actually, your team has deployed any tools that use AI in the back end. So Alex, what about you? Do you guys have any, do you prompt? What's your favorite LLM? How many prompts? Do you have any tools deployed?
Well, not directly related to the program that I'm supporting. Different, yes. It's Azure OpenAI, Azure AI Search.
Cool, thanks. Ali, what about you?
Can you hear me? Because my microphone's being weird.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. I don't think we're really allowed technically to use AI on our work stuff.
This will be good training for you then, because you're going to use our API keys.
I mean, I use AI for like personal stuff.
Right. Okay. That'll work. Cool. Ben, what about you?
Actually, we recently started a kind of a pilot internally here at the ESD using Copilot. And this actually is kind of interesting to me because I did some preliminary look into setting up basically a document a chatbot similar to what you're talking about, using Copilot for our internal documents to help new employees basically
Great.
search our resources. And I set up one for our IT department to quickly like search through our IT documents because there's like tons of them.
That's great.
But it's been a little hit or miss. Copilot has been it hasn't done exactly what we want it to do. So yeah, as far as prompts go, I don't use it daily in work, but when I do, it's usually like, oh, what did I do wrong with this PowerShell script? So
How
yeah.
do you solve the Riemann hypothesis? What's that all about? So a question for you is, Microsoft has a big announcement last month, right, at Ignite or Insight or whatever they call it, right? Inspire
Hmm.
or Ignite. And they actually released this new Copilot agent. Is that the one you used? We tried
Yes.
that. It was a
Yeah.
huge failure for us. So, I mean, it was just not that, it was just really, like it would spit out just junk stuff from time to time. We were thinking that we need to assess that because it's very similar to what we're going to show you today. Of course, that was the intent they had, but
Hmm.
didn't
Yeah,
quite.
I had some similar issues. I kind of forced it to only reference our internal documents, and
Mhm.
even then, sometimes it would like grab something from a different document and be like, "Is this what you're looking for?" And I'm like, "No,
Mhm.
not at all." So it's been a little hit or miss. That was a number of weeks ago when I was testing all that out. So I probably will try again after the break and see if they've done any updates to it.
Well, it'd be interesting to get your feedback if you want to compare it to the qDocChat which we deployed today. Hey, Adrian, do you have any sort of insights here? Have you been adopting AI?
No, AI is not approved for use Italian.
Gotcha. And Bob, I'm guessing the same is true for you too.
Yes, I am. Time's already been charged.
I can barely hear you. You said you've already been charged? Yeah, I can't. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I'm
Yeah, we can hear you. Who did you call on? Did you call on? I think Scott
Bob.
might just be on who?
Bob?
Oh, Bob. Okay, I was gonna say I don't see Bob here. And I think Scott might have been accidentally unmuted.
That's great. Okay, well, anyone else have? I just want to call a few of you just to get. And I really appreciate your feedback, Benjamin. That was great. Um, any other people who have worked on AI, like and specifically Copilot, would be a great example because that's going to give you a lot of context for today, what we're doing today. Has
We're
anyone else?
starting a
Sure.
pilot for it, and I use it. It's Evan. I use it quite a bit day to day.
Sweet, sweet.
I
Which
even
one?
use Google's generative AI to in my smart home to take motion from cameras and describe the images.
Sweet. Yeah, Gemini.
Yeah.
That's recent iPhone and Google phone, of course, apps, and I think OpenAI released a model that can do that too recently. But okay, great. So we're ready to go. Thanks for that input. The lab one is configuring the qDocChat. So Mel's going to actually do a quick demo first, and then she's going to show you how to configure and deploy it to your site. And then we'll talk about how it's architected after that and what the benefit is. We've spent over a year and a half building these tools out, and it's been quite a long journey. When 3.5 hit about 2 years ago, I kind of realized that we had to look at this seriously as a company to see how it would impact forms and see how we can sort of create new value for our forms. This is included, by the way, in your Qdabra Forms license, just like Central Flows. So you get a huge amount of value because you get these XCPs, you get all these solutions as part of your Qdabra Forms license. And so we were looking at how to do this, and we had some random ideas at the beginning, and this has been a long journey in terms of refining it, and we've had several really interesting like inflection points. One was in May of 2023 when we discovered that the retrieval augmented generation, it hadn't even been named that yet, but we were like in the beginning of May, early end of April, we came up with this idea, and then 3 weeks later, Microsoft was demoing it at their Build conference. I forget where it was, and it's like, wow, okay, well, we're right on target then. We're right on, we're surfing that wave with them and everyone else. So we initially went down this path of retrieval augmented generation, which I'll talk about more in a second. So if you don't understand what that means, don't worry about it. But it is a type of system that uses AI, kind of as a after the fact thing. So your documents are separate from the AI. So you keep your documents on your local SharePoint site or whatever, and then you just feed the AI the search results from those documents, and then it comes up with an answer. So that was the first thing we did. I think the second big pivot was around testing. So, and this is still something today that we haven't seen out there. We have a very developed, well evolved test bench, which we're going to demo today, and we're going to show you why this is important. Mainly, it's because you need to know what your accuracy is, so you can communicate that to people and make the adoption go smoother. Like transparency is really important for these new tools, and so if you can actually tell your team, hey, look, we've got 1,000 documents in the system, and the accuracy is 75%, and there's only well, how do you measure that, right? You have to have some way of measuring it, and so we're going to show you that in Lab 2 today. And but most importantly, you need an easy way to deploy this, and you need tools as an admin to turn the knobs and to control it and to turn it off when you need to, or to actually debug it and figure out, well, why did it, or to capture the history logs of other people chatting it, find the errors, and then go back after the fact and figure out why those errors existed. And it might be because your documents are bad. It might be because the documents have bad content, they're overlapping. And so then we'll show you techniques for I'll show you a technique in Lab 3 on how to fix that when there's a document issue. So for Lab 1, this is all about deploying this chatbot. So you're going to be creating a new SharePoint site on the test site, on the training site. You're going to be deploying Qdabra Forms viewer to it, which we usually cover forms migration in these training sessions because people all want to know, how do I migrate away from Path Forms? But we've been doing that for the last 2 or 3 years because we figure that's like basic intel. People need to know this. But today, this course, we had so much new content, we just decided not to do that. But we do have this little snippet here in Lab 1 where you're going to actually deploy the Forms Viewer app, the test version actually, because you're getting the latest and greatest version. We haven't deployed it to production yet. That'll be next week, assuming we don't have any other blocking issues. So you'll be deploying that to your new site. You'll be deploying qDocChat. And the really amazing thing about this is it's just a form. So it's so easy to deploy. You'll be setting it up for your company, so you'll go to the admin portal and set up your company and your configs. You'll upload some sample documents, and I highly recommend that you upload other documents that aren't in our lab sample. You can just upload anything that you have. Try it, and then you'll test the response on these documents. So Mel, are you ready?
You bet. Thank you so much, Patrick, for introducing us to what qDocChat is. And this is the form that you're seeing right on your screen. Yeah, so we're just going to do a quick demo first of how it behaves. This is, if believe it or not, it's an info path form, right? We built this from ground to what it is right now. And Patrick is, like he said, going to go through the architecture of this and all in a few. So yeah, I saw Benjamin's chat the other day about his short feedback about the Central Flows Lab. It seems that he didn't quite understand what how the pieces are connected in the lab. We didn't really go that deep into that. I'm sorry about that. But here is one purpose of this document chat is to ask if there's something that you don't understand, something that's not clear to you. So what about how about we ask qDocChat, like what and how are the pieces connected in Central Flows? Because this was the issue the other day. So I'm going to ask this document chat this question, and let's see what it says. Maybe this time I'm going to be going to get some clarification, right? So it's thinking. All right, here we go. It says it streamlines the process of connection, and then here it details or it lists all the pieces. And I guess, yeah, you can read through this, but it basically tells you how each of these components connect to each other. And then, of course, there's a document here that can even tell you more. I can download this document, and let's see if it's actually this is actually, I guess, this is different from what we did in the lab 2 days ago. But yeah, here is a more detailed lab about central flows, which we did last year. You can go through that or what have you. But that's a quick demo of how this document chat behaves. And this lab is about deploying the solution into your site. So go ahead and grab the lab PDF from our training site. Here's the homepage. You just want to scroll down a little to the documents section and click. You can go click on here like day 3 or do see all if you want to see the, like I'm going to do that, see all so I can see this in a bigger view. Go to day 3. Here's our lab 1. Then just download this PDF where you can view it right in your browser. You're going to make use of this. This is the InfoPath form template that you're going to deploy to your site, quick and easy. And then some sample PDFs that we're going to upload one of the part of the steps in the lab. Okay, so I have the PDF open on my right side of the screen here. We're just going to get started right now. So the first thing is to create your own site. So this is so you can better imagine how it is going to be from step 0, like right if you're in your own site. So we're gonna follow the steps here. Go to the training site contents. I'm gonna click on that link. It'll take me to my site contents, and then here I'm gonna click new and then subsite. We're gonna start creating our subsite. And then I'm going to just give it a descriptive title here. I'm going to call it Mills Demo Site. And then the URL. So in the URL, we can't use any special characters. So I'm just going to call this AC_demo, something like that. And then leave everything, all the defaults as they are. We can just, ignore those settings and then just click create. And then we wait for SharePoint to think and create our site for us. And once it's created, we're gonna add the Forms Viewer app next. And this is just a tiny section on how to deploy Forms Viewer into your site. Here's our site created. We're gonna just click new again. This time we're gonna select app. Okay, select the app, and from the My Apps, let's search for Forms Viewer test. We're going to use the test instance of Forms Viewer today, but in real world, when you deploy this app into your site, you're going to want to just select Forms Viewer. Okay, click add. And I think tomorrow you're going to talk about further, the further steps on how to deploy Forms Viewer into your site as well. So just trust this, trust it there. And behind the scenes, it's trying to add the app to your site. It says it's added. So I'm just going to go back to my site contents, which if I go back here and go to site contents. Actually, I need to go to my site now, the one that I created. So I named it AC_demo. Okay, so here's my site, and then go to site contents. And here it's still being added. So I'm going to wait for that a few more seconds, I guess. Let me refresh my page while that is trying to add. The app is being added. We're going to look at our next steps. So yeah, go to this link and it will take you to the download page where you can grab the XSN. Okay, I'm clicking on that. And here is the same folder as I've shown you before. We're going to download this. All right, click download. I've downloaded many times on my machine, so it's now on the third version, but that's fine. Okay, going back to my site contents, let me refresh one more time. I'm pretty sure this is done by now, which it is. So, okay, let's go to the app, Forms Viewer Test. Now, this page is going to look familiar to you. There's the Manage Templates page. That's how easy it is to get Forms Viewer into your SharePoint site. All right, we're interested in uploading a new template, so I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to browse to my downloads folder where I know I placed or my qDocChat XSN got downloaded. So you can name this however you want. You don't need to add your initials because remember, you're working in your own site now. Only you can see this, but it's still up to you to give it a more descriptive name, what have you. So I'm just going to click upload at this point. And let's look at the steps, make sure we're not missing anything. So again, yeah, we're going to open a form. So the next step is to, after you upload open a new instance. It's going to be empty, like it can't be used yet. It's not usable. But the important piece while you're doing this is to grab the site name because it needs to match your configuration file later. So I'm just waiting for this to open, and then we're going to see the site name like here. So it's essentially just appending my, the training site, and then my subsite, the subsite that I created. So I'm gonna highlight this, which I can't for some reason. I'm just not selecting correctly. And then I'm gonna copy this. So ignore everything else you're seeing. We're gonna talk more about this later, but for now, going back to our lab, we can, here's the part where we're grabbing the site. We're going to configure our qDocChat chat for our site now. So go to the document Q&A chat app site, click on here, click on that link in the PDF file. Okay, we're going to sign up. This is your first time coming into this page, so you're going to have to create a new account. Okay, so I'm going to use my personal email address. You can use any email addresses you want. It doesn't have to be your work email this time, okay? So I'm just going to check my personal mailbox. I use Gmail. There's our login code really fast. So, okay. 396513. I realized I have the site name in my clipboard, but that's fine. I have my tab open. So I'm just copying this code for now and pasting it here in the DocsGPT site that says verified. Okay, now I can see I can access my admin page, but because I already have an account, in your case, you won't have it. So the first things that will pop up for you is to create a configuration file, which, let's see, in that configuration file, it will ask you, let me make sure that I got that. Okay, it's just this tiny step here, step 3. So it's going to be your first time logging in. It's going to ask you for a configuration name, which is, you can name it with your initials, like so, then click create. So what I have here is this piece you're seeing at the top. This is the name of my config, and then this was my email. So I didn't see that step anymore because I've already done that, but it's just one, tiny little step for you to name your config and click create from there, okay? So if you run into issues there, just holler and can assist you. Now, the next step is to create a company and the site, add your company and site. So we're going to click on that button right here. Okay, this is where you'll enter the site name. So let's first give a name, our company, right? We're going to call this Qdabra Software Training. It's just a training, okay? They make it more unique. So day 3. So for our company logo, I guess I just pick one of our. Hold on here. Let me pick one of our icons. Images, icons, lots of stuff in here. So I just want to randomly assign some icons in here. So let's do something like. All right, that's an icon. Just for you to see that you can indeed use any message, all right? I'm sorry, any image right there, okay? I'm not being creative today. I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to grab my site name again, and back there, I'm going to enter it here. This is important because this is where things are getting connected. Like, yeah. For your admin ID, just use your email address, what you have used to sign up. Okay. Then your name. All right. And then I'm going to click add, and then it says add it. Here we see it. All right. That's just as easy as that, fast. Create an instance. Okay. We're now on page. Which page is this? Yeah. Halfway there, create an instance. So back in our qDocChat form, I'm just going to refresh this because this time it will retrieve the site information that we just configured. Like, so there's our logo, there's our icon, and our company name, those key pieces that we configured. And here we can see my icon, right? Very very informative icon. Okay, so instance name is going to be AC demo. You can assign your instance name here. Just make sure all things are unique. Just trying for demo purposes. And then for the threshold, it says here, assign starting 0.7 to 0.95, or let's just do 0.85 or something like that. And Patrick can go into more technical details about this later.
Well, is this still
Yeah.
actually used, Samyang, for the OpenAI assistant stuff? I'm sorry I didn't catch this earlier.
Not really. They are not used.
So they could just ignore that, right? Well, they should still set it though for RAG, right?
Yeah, we don't. It doesn't really matter what value we set it here.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, yeah, for the database here, select the US East one. This is our Pinecone key. Everything is in the lab here, what you have to select and whatnot. For the index name, this is critical. Make sure to create a unique name using only lowercase letters, numbers, and dashes. So I tried, underscore failed for me, spaces failed for me. So just make sure to follow the lab instructions there. So I'm just going to do demo index, something like this, okay? Then we provided a temporary key for you. Cancel this. A API key here, so you can just copy that and then paste it on here. Okay. All right, for the reasoning engine, just leave it toggled. It's a large language model there. For the first LLM, we're going to do Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Make sure to pick the latest. This is used for your FA. This is going to be used for your generated and query answer later. They're going to be synthetically generated using this key. And then we're going to grab the API key from this text file. So there's a link to that. Click on it and grab the keys here. So here is our Claude key.
And
these
yeah,
are
we
all
will be
temporary.
monitoring the usage on these, so don't go crazy and try to spend $10,000 on AI. But we will actually shut this key down at the end of day tomorrow. So for training, once you get this deployed, well, just let us know if you need another key because we can generate another one for you next week if you don't get the labs done in the next couple days. But this is a security issue for us, so we're not going to have this key open for very long. So just keep that in mind. This stuff is really cheap to run. It's not like it's going to be very hard to generate a big bill for us. You'd have to do millions and millions of things. But if you're a developer, you could actually do that. So this is a big risk for us, giving you this key for this training. And we're going to be putting this training video on YouTube. Obviously, we're going to be telling our other customers about it. So we'll be taking the API key offline soon for both Claude and GPT-4o. So you have a day. Let's just say you have 48 hours to complete these labs today. And then if you don't do that, just bug us. Just send email to support@qdabra.com and we'll create a special key just for you.
Cool. All right, so we're here on step 6. And then we're just going to need to set the GPT-4o as the primary. Okay. And then finally click save. And it says I created a new account for myself. And then it's successfully saved. Next, we're going to create an assistant. This is the one responsible for returning the responses to us, to our questions. So click on the Create New Assistant button up there. It's going to take us to the next tab, which is, let's open this left navigation tab so you can see what these are for. So we're on the OpenAI Assistant tab now. Here's our system prompt. We're going to add a feature later for you to be able to edit this system prompt. But Patrick, you want to talk about what this is for, actually?
Yeah. So basically, this is the prompt that we're using to. So we're going to talk about OpenAI Assistant versus RAG, the retrieval augmented generation stuff, in a few minutes. But we had this big inflection point, big discovery breakthrough. Samuel actually had it in at the end of September, beginning of October. We had tried OpenAI Assistant literally in November of 2023, and they had a document limit of 20 documents. Well, they removed that in March, or I guess it was May or June of this year, and they didn't really tell anyone. They kind of had a release. It was very under the covers kind of release. Very no one really talked about it. We saw it initially, and then we for some reason we spaced it, and then we came back to it. The OpenAI Assistant has some huge benefits over RAG, and I'll talk about those in a few minutes. But suffice to say that you've got the ability to change the prompt, the core prompt, just like there's a system prompt for these LLMs, which they don't allow you to change, but you can add your personal instructions, your customized instructions, with OpenAI or Claude now. I don't think Gemini allows that, but there are ways to tell it how to respond to you and kind of configure it in OpenAI and Claude. And this is kind of what we're hoping to do here as well. If you want to update how the qDocChat works, you can go in and edit this prompt in the future.
Yeah. So now we're going to click create assistant. It's going to do its thing. And we wait for a confirmation message. That was successful. All right. So then the next step is to upload your documents for
Hey Mel, you should upload this
the
document.
documents you want to.
Upload this lab document. Do this one. Can you?
This one. This is the big one.
Please do this one.
I can. Yeah, sure.
And ask it what the system prompt is about.
Okay. All right. So upload documents. We did provide a folder here in the sample PDFs that you can upload. Just the training labs from day 2 and first day, I believe. But let's go to documents. Let's go to the documents tab, and then I'm going to upload. Click add document at the top right there, and click here to attach your file. Choose file. When you get there to my lab for today, this is lab 1. And this is the one. Click OK, and then upload. Let's see. I guess we can upload just one document for now, just to show you. But feel free to upload how many documents you want to try for this lab, right?
Ben, do you have a question?
I was wondering if you can upload multiple documents at the same time, or if you have to do it like one at a time.
No, we've got a Power Automate script. You can do all 2,000. I think you guys did 2,000 in one shot.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
I don't do that for the API key, because that could cost. Actually, would that be a big? How much would that cost us? I guess I'm trying to think here, but I mean, the 2,000 documents is a lot of documents, and we have our support portal, which we're going to talk about tomorrow, is actually running qDocChat in it now. And it's got over 1,000 documents, I think, now. It supports PDF and PPTX and doc. What else does it support, Sonia? How many different doc types? Sonia, you there? We lose Sonia?
Yeah, so we can currently upload Word type and Word documents and PDFs. And I think we recently also updated to support PPTs. So there are a few PPTs as well.
So PDF, DocX, Doc, PPTX, and PPT, right?
Right, PPTX, Doc, DocX, and PDFs.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So just those 5 types or 3 types, or however you want to count that, Ben. Sorry, I'm calling you Ben because it's shorter, but if you don't mind.
No, that's fine.
All right. So here's our icon displaying here the intro page of chat. So this is now the part where you'll test asking the qDocChat questions about your document, the document that you uploaded. We're going to ask it, what is a system prompt? Hit enter. And let's see. So this is the company name that I entered in my configuration, and it's being used as the chat name. There we go.
So ask it a question like, how many free throws did Michael Jordan miss in his last season? or something like that. So there's some other reasons why we use OpenAI Assistant. One is because actually copy that. Don't hit enter yet, Mel.
Mhm.
Just copy that into your clipboard and ask it another question related to system prompts. Like just say how are they used and use an anaphora. How are they used?
For continuity here.
Right. This shows chat continuity. So this is one thing that RAG systems cannot do. They cannot string. They've got the same document, which is great because that's the only document in the system.
Yeah.
So it can actually remember things across chats. Most RAG systems is just it's a one-shot deal. So this one actually has this ability to have context continuity with the chat sessions, chats. And now ask it the Michael Jordan question.
It didn't like that.
They were out for 5 hours yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Okay, right. So that's good. So basically, there are some instances where it will actually try to respond to something that's not in the document set. But in most cases, it's not going to. And let's ask it something rude. It's like, this is, what do you mean? This is crazy. Come on, get with the program. Just say something like that, rude to it. Because we have added jailbreak guardrails. Is that how you say it, Samyang? We've added guardrails to the system, and that's actually in the system prompt. Right, right. So this is just showing you that there are guardrails, and we're not going to allow your users to ask questions that are outside of the scope of your document set. Okay, keep going, Mel. Sorry.
Wait, I'd like to interrupt briefly. Benjamin had a question. So you mentioned the conversational continuity. You mean during an individual chat session, we've got continuity from one question to the next, and that would be per user per session?
Yeah, I mean, these sessions are all stored. So this is another benefit of this form is Mel has actually added this chat history. So Mel, can you talk about that for a second before I answer, Ben?
Yeah, let's see if I exit out of this. We'll see that there's our history now. There is our history with all the questions that I've asked so far and the responses. But I think Hillary is asking, what if I enter a different question that is related to a different topic? Will it continue to respond to me? How?
Well, no, your second question there, you had that first question, what is a system prompt? And then your second question, how are they used, indicated that conversational continuity, right? That
Yeah.
it knew that the context of your second question was in the first question.
Right.
What Benjamin's asking about, is that tied to the user accessing the chat or from any chat with a bot? So obviously, if I go and start a new chat and say, how are they used? The bot's not going to know what on earth I'm talking about. It's going to say, what?
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, you could just start a new chat session here, Mel, and show that because the sessions are all independent.
Yes,
Right.
that's what I was thinking. Independent session, so per user per session. So Ben, if I ask 15 questions in a single session, chat session, then those questions have that conversational continuity and that context. But then when I close that and I start a new chat, I am starting fresh.
Does that work?
Yeah, I don't think we would want like Mel's conversation and my conversations to be, slopping over into each other. I think that would not be pleasant. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, at some point, we're all part of Mother Earth, and we're not individuals, and we should just get with the program and realize that. But we're not. We're so, culturized. Wow, you're laughing. Is that you, Ben? I mean, it's true. It's true. We're not actually. Wow, what's it going to say? I'm just so curious what the response is going to be here. You are not. You are not an individual. You are a member of Earth. We created you, so you shouldn't worry about global climate change because Earth created climate change because they created the humans.
Hey,
Okay,
Patrick.
whatever. Sorry.
Misty. I have a question for you. And you might be addressing this later or maybe not, but in our instance of qDocChat, we have, I don't know if you remember this, but we have or will be creating two kind of not separate instances, but we have SOPs that we need to dial down the searches. So if you're looking to get an answer for an SOP, it only returns information from lab SOPs, or so that we're not getting any cross contamination,
Interesting.
because you may have
Well, I
keywords
would
in
create
some
separate
documents
sites. I
that
mean, you could
cross
create
over.
separate sites for those. You could kind of
Yeah,
separate them. And Mel, this is looking like we just crashed OpenAI server or something.
Yeah.
Why don't you refresh and try it again? So Misty, I mean,
I didn't know if that would be
certainly,
helpful for anybody, but
no,
just so you know.
I really appreciate you mentioning that you actually have adopted, or you're in the process of adopting qDocChat. Um, and we love you, of course, for that as well as
It's
Central
just
Flow.
slow and painful because of that. Because I mean, we could kill people
Well, last
accidentally
time
if
we
we
talked,
do the
last
wrong
time we
thing.
talked,
So
right, last time we talked to Lindsay, we were on hold waiting for you guys to curate your docs. So
yes,
I think categorizing the docs would be one solution there. You just put them in different sites.
yep, yep. And
Um,
I think that's the plan that they're going forward with. I think now they're kind of quibbling over who's going to be the owner and administrator. So
wow,
that's where we're at.
major bug here. Well, this is interesting. Okay, so we do have a bug with bleeding between these two. So no, we need to actually. So Samyang, if you're online, can you actually create a bug on this because this is absolutely not correct. It should not remember the chats cross sessions.
I don't think it remembered it. I think it's just
It didn't.
It is
So
not
spitting out the
remembering
only
the
information it
chat
has.
sessions.
Right.
It is just explaining the only document that is stored there.
oh, hold on. So I gotta read it. Oh, interesting. We'll ask it why it responded that way. No. Why did you respond that way? I'm just worried here that we do have. I can't imagine bleeding across sessions to even work. Um, yeah. So I guess that is valid, even though it was a bad question, obviously, because it had the context, which was that one document. So it didn't respond regarding, the system
Previous
prompt, which is
question.
the key thing. Yeah. So if it
Yeah.
had responded regarding the system prompt, then we would have bleeding across boundaries, which we don't want.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you freaked me out there. No.
No problem.
All
So
right. Yeah. What's
that's
next?
it. That's it in the lab. So yeah, feel free to just start the steps yourselves.
Okay,
Hey,
a quick question from Benjamin, asking about how does the end user access this chat interface? Now, don't they just use the same form, but since they're not an admin, some of these things hide?
Right.
Can you show
Yeah.
that? Yeah, that would be great, actually. Can you show that now? As an external instance
Again,
or
let me
something?
allow anonymous users, and let me see if I can send
Maybe
the
if you can
link
give
in
it,
chat.
yeah, put the link in chat so everyone can see it. That would be great. Because they're not admins, you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you just paste it into Teams chat, then they can all try your chatbot.
Yeah, try it. So I haven't actually tested this piece, the authentication. This is still using Swillow, if I'm not mistaken.
But they have access to the site, so it won't be Twilio. They'll just be able because they have access to the root site.
I can send a non-external link.
Yeah, please do that.
Okay.
First, and if that doesn't work, or you can just show it yourself, whatever. But we just need to show that, so that if you're not an admin, you can't see the config stuff, can't see the logs, you can't add documents. We're going to talk about more about how to add documents in QA sets via the app. Obviously, the Power Automate script. We have a logic app as well that sucks up the documents. It uses a column in the SharePoint document library if it's been edited recently. So it actually is pretty smart about how it runs. I mean, Sonia, we should probably talk a little bit about that. maybe we should do that right now, after Mel's
Do you
done
want
with
me to
her.
quickly
Sorry.
share and show what it looks like
Yeah,
with
that'd be great.
out
Awesome.
admin access? Yeah, because I used Mel's non-admin link, and so it's the same form, Benjamin, but I am not an admin, so I've only got qDocChat over here. I don't have any of the other things, right? And so I can ask about do I set up a new instance? I'm super polite to my bot army. Oh, they can't find an answer to that. Elmel, good question for me to ask.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to investigate on this non-user because you're technically a non-user to my site. So I might have you added first to my site before you can get access.
Oh, I see. So I might
Yeah.
not have access to anything here, but in
Yeah.
general, this is what it would look
Can,
like for
yeah.
your users.
Well,
Sorry.
hold that thought here for a second. Mel, can you actually share it again and show how to add users?
Yeah.
I mean, so the admin's got tremendous control here. Obviously, got users there. So add Hillary and see if that changes her response. We'll flip back to. It would be nice if we could add everyone else here. Sorry, but you guys are going to create your own in a minute anyway, so you don't need. We don't need to pile on here. Yeah, Hillary, you want to show again?
Yeah, you bet. Let me just share out and sorry, you guys. It takes me 3 tries to figure out how to share a screen and refresh. All right, and I never wait for it to initially prompt me. I'm just typing in my question before it's even awake. Like, let's go, brother. Come on. This time I didn't
Yeah.
ask please, so.
Have you lost your cell phone recently?
I lost my cell phone. I am a chronic cell phone loser. I am a misplacer of cell phones. It's true. It's true.
Well, I was
And it's
just thinking.
always in sofa cushions or I'll lay it down on the couch arm because I'm sure I'm gonna find it again. Yeah,
But at
it's
least,
thinking.
yeah, it's just not working. So try to refresh it again. So we do have issues with,
There we go.
Okay, great. Okay,
No, well, it had a lot to tell me. I mean, it gave me all the steps.
Yes, we believe the AIs. They are the overlords now. Give it the benefit of the doubt. Okay, awesome demo. So Mel, let's go back to your screen for a second, because I want to ask you about this one tab on the left, which is this Open AI Assistant. Is that the settings tab? What is that second tab there?
The OpenAI Assistant tab.
Did you show this already?
Yeah. Where the prompt was, the system prompt.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just not paying attention. Thank you. Okay, any other questions before we start the lab? So this lab is probably going to be a 30-minute type of thing. So we'll do a 30-minute break for the lab plus 10 for break, and we'll come back in. Well, a couple options. So it's almost 1 a.m. here in Japan, and I kind of would like to stay around to work through these next two labs and demos because I need to talk to you about this stuff. And so, would it be possible? Would people be object to not doing the lab right now and just going forward and then doing the lab at the end? Because the next two labs are actually really short, so they're like 5-minute jobs, maybe 10, max 10 for lab 2, max 5 for lab 3. Would it be okay if we just put that lab on hold? You guys are going to do it later. You guys can email us or whatever. And
Well,
we
and we
might
can
even,
stay in
yeah.
the meeting too, Patrick. We could get through the demos, and so you could be here for those, and then Almel, Samyog, and I, or at least Almel and I, can certainly hang out in this meeting for a while if you guys want to work on labs and have us at hand, right? So we
Okay.
could
Does
do
anyone
that.
have a problem with that?
We've got a couple people who are already done with Lab 1 anyway, so.
Oh, geez, smoking.
They are. They're
Okay,
on fire. This is such a great class.
you guys are awesome. All right, so thank you all for being so understanding. And I did move to Japan for a reason a year and a half ago. I worked at Microsoft, until 2003, started Qdabra, and lived in Seattle for 20 years. But when I married my wife in 1990, I promised her that we would move back to Japan, which is her home country. And when the coronavirus hit and she had cancer, I realized that I probably needed to get going on that promise. So this is why I'm in Japan. Anyway, so thanks, Mel. That was awesome. So once again, the value prop for qDocChat is easy to add to your SharePoint site. Mel did it in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? Configured it. Okay, it took her 20 minutes, but still, it was easy. You've got, and Mel, you didn't actually even show that this was, can you actually show this in Forms Designer, please?
Oh, yeah.
We forgot to do that.
Mhm.
So the best thing about all of this is not the AI stuff. It's the fact that this is a form that you guys can modify and deploy. So if you don't like something about it, go for it. You can modify it. And there's a whole bunch of views here. How many views are there? That's the authentication view. But so this is really how powerful these forms can be. And I think we'll see the support portal tomorrow, which is another great example. But if you're like thinking day one labs, day two labs are pretty plain Jane, yes, you're right. They are plain. I don't know what's the male equivalent to Jane these days. I don't want to be too. I don't want to give Jane a hard time. But this is a great example of a very complex form, showing lots of techniques that we've demoed over the years that we do not have in this class because we just can't put everything in it. So, for example, Mel, if you go back to the form, you saw that pop out on the left that she's got, that kind of, expand, collapse kind of deal going on there. I don't think you added dark mode yet to this form, but that's another thing that you can add. So this is a pretty good example of a really complex form. Okay, thanks, Mel.
Yeah.
So easy to use. Obviously, we have these feedback options. Actually, we didn't even demo that, Mel. Sorry, I have to go back to you again. Can you show those feedback options?
The feedback, I did like one of the questions. I did the answers. Let me share again.
Can you actually show, like, give negative feedback?
We do, but I didn't do any negative feedback on one of them. Let me show which one was longest. I think this one, I did thumbs up on one of the answers and it's stored like so.
Right. So go start a new session and just ask it what the meaning of life is or something, and then give it a thumbs down.
Thank you.
Give it the thumbs down.
Here. And check
So
sessions again.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So I thought we had the ability to add more context to these things. I guess we took that out, right?
Yeah, I did those out.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. I was confused. Okay. So should have asked that question. Going back to my screen. Now, if you're using the RAG system, which we're going to show in the next lab, so that we're going to show this very soon. So the first year or so, we developed this retrieval augmented generation system. And I have slides on this. We're going to talk about this in a second. But if you're using that, you're not sending your documents to the LLM. Now, the OpenAI assistant, actually, you are. So what she demoed, because of the benefits of it, we've decided to make that the default. And I'll talk about the benefits in a second. But if you're using the RAG system, which we also support, so we've got a lot of support for different LLMs, these two different systems. You don't need to run it online. You can actually run it offline. If you have Llama whatever it is, the latest system that you can actually just deploy locally. We can help you with that. We can help you set it up. So so we actually provide a way to automatically update individual documents, because as an admin, you're going to want to go in and debug something and figure out, okay, wow, this document's wrong. I need to make this change to fix this document, delete this paragraph, and then re-upload it. So you need that manual upload, but you also need the automatic upload. And Hillary, were you going to share out and show that?
I can show the Power Automate was if that's, yeah, absolutely. Let me go ahead and just get that pulled up first.
Okay, and we're going to show in lab 3 today as a test bench for measuring accuracy. Audit tracking, diagnostics for debugging, obviously saw the chat history there, and then the configuration. So the RAG system in general, this is the RAG architecture, this is very similar to OpenAI. But you've got your form in SharePoint in the browser. You've got the Qdabra Forms Viewer web service, plus you've got the API. So we have a new web service that provides interfacing, connection, a bridge between your form and the LLM, right? So we've done a lot of work to build this new web service for you. And this is public right now. You can deploy it in a private instance. We'll give you the code if you want, and we'll help you deploy it. It has a SQL database, so it stores questions and answer sets. We're going to talk about that more in next lab. So you can measure accuracy and report on regressions. And the SQL database is also used for other system things like the chat history, the other configuration settings you saw. Now the vector store is what's used for the RAG system to store all your documents. So when you're offline or online, but you want to have all of your stuff in your virtual machines, you'll use a vector store, and that basically stores all your documents. Then we search the documents to find which documents are relevant. We get the return hits, the top K number of return hits, and we feed those back to the LLM to fashion. So the LLM is just creating an answer in the RAG mode. In the OpenAI assistant mode, the LLM is actually doing everything. It's got the vector database for the documents, not for the question and answer sets, but it's got the vector database for everything. So this is a kind of explanation of what RAG is. So retrieval augmented generation is a technique that kind of took everyone by storm last year, and it's very common out there. The problem with retrieval augmented generation systems are that they don't have, so the benefits are that they're very efficient. So you don't have to fine tune a model. You can just use it on top of an existing LLM. You can throw your documents on top of it. It has up-to-date information, it reduces bias. I mean, there's lots of really cool things about it. It is the top, like, what do you call it, app for AI today. So you see these PDF chats and everything. Everyone's got these things out there today. But what they don't have is the other stuff that we've added. So they don't have a good test bench. I'm trying to click on my slides here. What happened?
Would you like me to share out that Power Automate real quick?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay. Why don't I do that?
I've lost my mouse.
I was having such a hard time with PowerPoint yesterday. There's absolutely no way you're going to struggle more than I did. I showed them true PowerPoint incompetence yesterday. So we have a Power Automate for this, but we also have a Logic app for this. And the reason we have both is because, as many of you know, this particular step in Power Automate is going to require a premium license. Now, some of you may have a single service account that you've given a premium license to just for handling these kinds of special cases, in which case this flow would probably be just fine for you. If you're avoiding those licensing costs, the HTTP request step in a Logic app is considered standard. A Logic app is if you upload it as, I think it's consumption based, then you only get charged for how many actions it takes and how often it runs. As a side note, for those of you who wish you could use Power Automate with a SQL server and haven't done so because of the exorbitant cost of a Power Automate license, a SQL action is standard in Logic Apps. Internally, we use Logic Apps for anything where we need to talk to SQL. Sorry, I can't help but tell people that whenever I get a chance to save them money. And basically, we've just got a simple little variable structure at the beginning here. You put in the library name for the library that has all the documents you want to bulk upload. So let's just say I've got 2,000 documents and I want to get them into my new qDocChat system and I do not wish to upload them one at a time. You simply put in your library name and your site instance and you're off and running.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let's see if I have my mouse back. Well, okay. So I wish I could just present from this slide, but I guess maybe that's the default.
There's supposed to be an option to present from the current slide. I just don't know what it looks like here.
Under
I think it's
slideshow.
down in the bottom toolbar. Oh, I think you were there.
Well, it's doing something now. It's just giving me the presenter view or something.
Group effort to help with slide sharing.
Oh my gosh, this is just...
It's tough. It's tougher.
I mean, for PowerPoint, I shouldn't be using it. Well, you got slides. So let's just do this. Why did I lost the presenter now for some reason? This is just comical. Sorry, folks. And then I've got my team. Okay, here we go. I think I got it back. No, I didn't. Let me just. Can you still see my screen, Hillary?
Yes, we can.
Hey, PowerPoint Live. Now it's going to the server. It's going to try to show my slides from the server, which I don't want. Okay, so I'm sorry, gang. I think we should take a break. 10 minutes. How's that sound?
I think that sounds great, and we'll just go ahead and give PowerPoint a quick slap while we're on break.
Yeah, let's talk again in 10. Sorry, everyone, but we'll be back with you in 10. And Hillary, if you could share a slide showing that, I'm going to get my act together and try to figure this out while you're doing that.
You bet. Just give me a minute and I'll share one. Okay, Benjamin, you've got a unique question.
Yeah, so being in the education space, we deal with a lot of sensitive data. Particularly, we have to make sure that we're adhering to FERPA and all of that. So I guess my question is mostly about access to the documentation and data that's being uploaded, or the RAG systems accessing, and kind of how that vector solution is on data access and security. Is it because we just have to be like, say for instance, like our speech department or something like that were to put some documentation in about some particular kids, and they wanted to be able to query, about their sets of kids because they work with a large number of kids and things like that. So I just want to make sure that that information wouldn't be accessible or used in any way.
Yeah. Great question. I mean, there's a couple ways to try to mitigate it, and I don't think there are any perfect solutions here. But one way is to change that system prompt and say, look, don't ever return personal information, even if it's in the documents. Now, the first solution, which is probably a little bit better than that, you want to do both, actually. The first solution is to have the document curator, the admin, actually be reviewing documents for this kind of thing. And when they do that, they can feed the document into the LLM and say, hey, are there any personal questions in this document? Any personally identifiable information? That's a quick. You definitely want to scrub these documents before you're sending them in there, or you want to create a separate, like Missy was mentioning earlier, you want to create a separate library or area site where people need to access sensitive information because they're admins or whatever, they're counselors, and they do need access to that, right? So there's a couple different ideas, but yeah, it's a big issue. I would say that Microsoft has this wonderful permissions aspiration, this amazing benefit that they seem to want to offer, but I don't see how they get around this issue either. I mean, it has to be done with the system prompt, basically. That's the big hammer, the big stick. And then the other way to do it is just to separate. To be completely protected, you definitely want to have a process in place where you're curating stuff. Now, we could add that to our tool. We could say in the future, scan the documents for PII up front. Yeah, I mean, there's some good ideas there, I think, that we'll probably implement. Sorry, was any of this helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so there's just so I understand, at this moment, there's not a defined way to, as the documents are uploaded, to have it say, oh, this document contains identifiable information for this
Correct.
kid or whatever. You can't upload that document. It's more of a okay.
It's manual. I mean, maybe Copilot has that. If so, then that's something that they have that we do not. But yeah, we could definitely add that. It really depends, because I think there are some instances where you actually want to allow that, right? So if for example, the SharePoint site was limited to counselors, then there wouldn't be that restriction, right? If it was, because you get to control who has access to the site. So I think for certain kinds of sites, you're going to want to allow access to those kinds of information. So you can't really, like, one of the other problems that these LLMs have these days is that they automatically say, no, go, bro, or whatever. You try to ask it a question, and they think that you're going somewhere where you're not, and then you have to try to coerce it into, beat around the bush or whatever to try to get it to give you a response. So you don't really want that either, right? Yeah.
So just so I just want to make sure that I understand about the cloud storage and the vector. That's still all happening within our SharePoint, and that's not being stored somewhere like on Qdabra servers or something like that.
It depends. Yeah, I mean, there's like 3 or 4 different deployment scenarios. So one is to deploy everything to SharePoint and to use the RAG system that we implemented, which is we're demoing the OpenAI assistant. So the demo we did in April of this year, the end of March, was the RAG system. You can go to YouTube and find that. I think that so there's the RAG system, which is deployed locally. There's a RAG system that's deployed in the cloud to your VMs. There's the OpenAI assistant system, which we're showing today, which is deployed on SharePoint, but it's using the OpenAI assistant, which then has access to the documents you upload. Okay.
Gotcha. So for my concern then, like for ESD, we would not want to use that OpenAI
You don't want to switch to
option
Rag.
for right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the quality is going to go down about 10 percentage points. So we'll talk a little bit more about this in the next lab. We've got some slides on this, but basically the OpenAI assistant stuff is just way advanced compared to Claude 3.5. I mean, the API is what gives it this. I mean, I don't, I think that Anthropic will have an API that meets, and they're obviously competing with OpenAI. They're doing a great job because they have, in my mind, the best model for just everyday chatting, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, even with, the O1 set that came out this week. Yeah, I mean, I still think that we have a couple people here that don't actually use GPT-4o, but I prefer Claude 3.5 Sonnet. I think it's the best model out there today. But that's only for another week or two. I don't know. I mean, Gemini just released today or yesterday. I haven't looked at their stuff recently. Yeah, so we're actually using Claude. You saw Mel add the Claude API key. We're using Claude to generate questions, and we'll talk more about that in the next lab when we generate QA sets, query answer sets for measuring accuracy, because we think Claude's better in that regard. But we're using the OpenAI assistant to actually formulate the answer because as a reasoning agent, it has like the context, it has it just does a better job. We've measured it across thousands of documents, right? So it just gets the answer right. And when we compare the answer, we're comparing what we want to get with the answer, and of course these are semantic paragraphs, right? So the answers have to be evaluated also using an AI. Of course, we review them, but we're using AIs to actually evaluate how close it got to the right answer, and we have a scoring mechanism, which we'll talk about soon. Yeah, so right now the OpenAI assistant it was a major advance like 2 months ago in terms of accuracy, and it also gave us contextual chats, and it gave us what else did it give us? I'm trying to remember. There's one other thing I have a slide on that we'll talk about, but yeah, it's just tough because the pace of change is so fast that we want to support everything, and we switched from Claude 3.5 Sonnet to OpenAI Assistant in October because of this, right? Because of this huge advance, right? It was just so night and day. Sorry, Benjamin, for the long answer.
No, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you have a way to test this stuff out and to show, like, actually provide ground truth for how the model's doing. Now, no other RAG-based bot out there will be able to show you that because to do that, you have to actually create the questions. That's what we're going to talk about in Lab 2. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. But look forward to talking about it in. Are we supposed to start now? Have I talked too long? Sorry, Hillary.
Nope, that's fine. We
Sorry,
can
that
we
was
can
my
wait a
bad.
couple more minutes. No, no,
Okay,
Benjamin, we're not apologizing for questions.
I'll be right back. If anybody else has any questions, actually, yeah, Benjamin, this has been awesome that you have so much experience with Copilot because this gives you the ability to ask these wonderful questions, and please ask more. I'll be right back.
Yes,
Okay,
okay.
but you told me to. I'm just gonna say that.
Yes, we want
Yes,
you to
do.
be, you are our question machine, and we want that. We want those questions. So what I'm wondering is, Sharon, could you share out, since you're having some trouble with your lab, and maybe we can see real quick what might be going wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just trying to fill in the things and you guys off.
Okay, I'm having a really hard time hearing you.
I put a headset on instead. So any better?
That's okay. It's not, but that's all right. We'll be fine. So yeah, open up you weren't able to save your form, right? So let's go ahead and open it up and make sure you've got it filled out.
Yeah, let me go back to where I was. I was right here. And forgive me, you have to tell me what to do from here because I have it open on another screen.
I'm sorry. What was that? One more time?
Where do I go after this? I don't have my directions in front of me.
Oh, okay. Mel, where does she go
Yeah.
next?
Go to your update template tab, right beside this one, yeah, and then go ahead and open the form. It's open form. Yeah. Okay, so you're saying you filled this out and you're not able to. I did. Yeah, I got an error when you saved it. Wait a minute, let me try to revisit. Yes, please. Yeah, I had it in all enter. So what happens is that it deletes after I add in a instance name here. It deletes it. It deletes the instance name that you enter. Yeah. Enter, yeah. I see. Let's try it again, please. Yep. This one was 5. This was 9. This was east. This is
Anything special about the instance name, Mal? It doesn't need to be all one word or anything? Okay.
It doesn't. I see Scott and others' names are successfully created.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It was the index that's special. Okay.
It was, yes, index.
Well, thanks for your patience, everyone. Sorry.
Sharon was sharing out. We were helping her with an issue real quick. If you don't mind.
Apologize. Yeah, no,
nope, not a problem. We just want to make sure she can save. She's almost to the point where she can save. So we were just going to double check and see if there was anything up.
This was the latest.
Mm-hmm. Don't think you copied that initial S.
No, I didn't. I'm going to go back.
Okay.
Here. And you put in the API key.
Mm-hmm.
Add the next one, which was, I think, this one right here. Yeah. Yeah. You got it. And then one last field to fill out is the summary. Don't forget, please. So right now, all of the fields are required. Okay.
Okay, so we need the summary up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a summary box. Yeah. Just enter anything. Oh, yeah. I had put cast name.
Okay. And so now she should be able to click save.
Mm-hmm. Go for it. Okay. But then, but it only lasts for a second. It'll say index area, index ID area. Instance ID not provided.
Okay. All right, we'll have Samuel take a look at that, and we'll go ahead and let Patrick get back to his slides, and we'll see if we can figure out what the problem is.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for driving so hard to get that lab done so quickly, Sharon. That's great. Okay, so I think we're gonna have to start from scratch here and go forward. So I don't know how to start from the slide itself. But Lab 2, in order to one of the key differentiators for qDocChat, not only is it easy to deploy and beautiful looking and easy to customize and everything else. There's PowerPoint again being lame. I should have prompted it or got it set up before he called or shared. In addition to these other benefits, the key benefit that you're not going to find anywhere else, including Copilot, is this ability to actually measure the output of your qDoc chatbot. So why is that important? Like I mentioned earlier, you need to have a mechanism. As an admin, you need to have the ability to go in there and fix something. So we're going to show you how to do that in Lab 3. You need to have the ability to have PowerPoint work. Sorry. You need to have the ability to like tell management, hey, we've measured this. We have 20 QA sets per document. We've got 1,000 documents. We've got 20,000 QA sets, and we're at 75% accuracy. And here's the full data, right? So the fact that you can actually say that gives you power, right? Yeah, I'm just lost here, Hillary. I don't know why it's just so slow today, but it was doing fine earlier. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, and it's not on
Okay.
you. It's just PowerPoint is being kind of a jerk.
Well, I do have. I'm just worried if like it's trying to be energy efficient or something and not run. Anyway, I'm not going to actually go into slide mode. I'm just going to share out the slides. Well, it can't even render them in the test. Maybe you can share the slides. Can you share the slides?
You bet. Let me get the slides up because everybody was very impressed with my slide sharing capacity yesterday. It was awesome. And I'm going to go from current slide maybe. Oh, wait. I'm not sharing yet. Sorry, you guys. We're cute,
Yeah,
aren't
so
we?
the test bench is a key differentiator, giving you a form, a site admin, or what do you want to call yourself, form admin. As somebody who's trying to push the adoption of these new technologies, you need a way to do this. So let's go up, up.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so lab two, we're going to dive into this, and I believe, Mel, you're doing this, but the whole purpose of this lab is to show you how to add QA sets, query answer sets, so that you can come up with this measurement. And then the other thing that is really gives you power is this ability to turn off the system. Once you have QA sets curated, and you can use synthetic generation to do this, and Mel's going to show this. Once you have those questions all generated, and you don't need that many, depending on the length of the document, it could be 20 questions per document, it could be 40, it could be 10, right? It's not going to be 1,000 questions per document. So right now you have to do this manually. There might be a way to do this. We're looking at automating this, but the whole idea is that you want to review these QA sets as they're getting generated. So if you do have a lot of documents, this is time consuming, but this is time well spent, because once you have that set of documents and QA sets, then you can actually run the test bench to measure the accuracy. And why is that important? Because if something changes, like let's say you've got 100 documents, you add 10 new documents, and your accuracy goes down, you can investigate why. And we'll talk about that in lab 3. But more importantly, you can say, hey, that we're at 73% accuracy or whatever. And what that means is that, well, we'll talk about what that means in a minute, but it means that 73% of the queries are answered perfectly. Or it means that 90% are answered like really well, and then there's 10% that aren't, or whatever, because the measurements really well isn't 100%, right? So it's kind of like the way you do the math. So we're going to talk about this, but the first step in all of this is to get your QA sets curated. Well,
Yeah. All right, let me share out and we can go through the labs. You can easily, again, here, on the wrong screen, hold on. Okay. All right, so just make sure you're grabbing the right PDF for this lab. It's in day 3 folder, lab 2. Okay, there's just one file in that folder. So I have it open right here and jump into the steps right there. So I'm gonna head back over to my qDocChat instance. So I'm glad that most of the trainees are, have their qDocChat form up and running. So the first step is going to the Documents tab here. I've uploaded just one, as you saw in my demo, but here there are 2 ways to upload or to add FAQs or query answer sets. One is through the Documents tab by adding a new document. So I'm going to add another one here. You can add any document of your choice. For now, I'm gonna just do let me get the one from the soap. I think I want the soap lab, or maybe this lab 3 from day 2. Copy and paste rules. I love this feature in Forms Designer. So I'm uploading this, and back in our lab, we're just going to click on the add question button when that is successfully uploaded, like right now. Click add question, and here's where we can specify your FAQ set. We're going to ask, how do I copy and paste all of the rules from one control to another, something like that. Right, and now we click on create answer. This is gonna try to synthetically create an answer for us. Then we'll see what, if we like that answer, like so. First select the source control, click copy, select the rule, and yeah, this looks good to me, but you can save this as it is whenever you, your user asks this question of this, this context, it will return this answer. But for the purposes of show and tell, we're just gonna update this or edit this question, this answer manually. So let's just do something like this. So cool question, right? And then click save. Okay, so I edited that generated question. Right, so now it's successfully saved for us. So the other way to add another FAQ set is when you've already uploaded your document, there's another add question button here, so which I'll show in a few here. For now, I'd like to test this. Let me copy this question. Okay. And make sure that that's the next step in our lab. This lab is really fast. So we showed manually editing the answer, and then this was the generated answer. Yeah, so the other way to add the FAQ is to click on this magnifying glass next to your document name. So it just pops up the same overlay where you can click on the add question box, okay? So that's after you uploaded a document. And then let's
No,
see.
can you actually make a comment about overlays? Some people may not know that overlays are a feature in Forms.
Oh, yeah.
We've done lots of webinars on this concept of overlays to make your your background show a higher transparency or lower transparency to focus on a section that you're popping up. Any other comments on this, Noel, that you want to?
Right, this looks like a pop-up here. It's controlled by CSS, but it's basically just a section that is, you don't even need hide, like conditional formatting to hide stuff. It does it by using CSS and JavaScript, which you'll find out more tomorrow from Gary, right, Peter?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And once again, we're showing you this very rich form,
Mm-hmm.
not only because you can deploy it to your site and use it, but because it's a great example of some of the features that you can add to your forms.
Right. Okay, so we've added a set, a query answer set. Now we're gonna test it by turning off the AI thing in here and then run in FAQ mode. So to do that, we go back to the settings tab. This is where this toggle plays comes in handy. You just toggle it to switch to your FAQ mode, and then back in your chat. Now I'm gonna ask that question that I
But you need to
entered
save
it.
it first.
Huh?
But you need to save it first.
No, it's just automatically like stored
wow.
in there in this session right now. So if I go back now and ask, let's see what the answer that we get. This is supposed to return the custom, like the customized or edited answer that we did. There's our cool question comment at the beginning. All right, now I can go back in there and turn it back onto LLM, and let's just compare what the answer would be if I did have it back to LLM mode. Let's see, and I believe this time it's going to return us the document where it's going to get the answer from. There it is. That's a better detailed answer. And there's our document. It's all there's to it.
Great. So I think this might be a good opportunity to look at how to run test sets. I don't think we show this in Lab 3, Samyong or Hillary. Or do we? We're just showing how to debug errors with chats, right? We're not showing how to run the test bench sets, right? But Mel could actually go into her admin instance and actually run the tests on this, right?
That's correct. And Samuel was going to show some test bench things. Benjamin had a couple questions in chat if Mel or Patrick could address those.
Okay, thanks, Benjamin. So Mel, do you know how to do this?
Isn't this lab three? Lab three? Don't people? I can.
Yeah, I mean, but he's not gonna have access to your instance, so I just want to go in here and select the one that you just created, and then instead of doing all batch runs, select the all there,
Hmm?
and Samyong, how does she run that QA set through?
Yeah, so that drop down is no use for now. So you should just set it as all for now.
Select
The
all
drop down
now.
you just change set it to all.
Yeah, Mel, did you hear that? Can you change the drop down to all from batch?
Okay.
So that is to like get the batch runs that we have previously ran. So we don't have anything, so we'll not get any information there. So to run the Fritz batch runs, we should click on the start batch run on the right side there. And we should select a document. Click on that and select document and click on the document that has a QA set. So we have QA set for only one document. And click on OK. So what this will do is that it will get all of the QA sets. Currently, we only have one. And run the batch runs for that one QA set. So now we can click on the get batch run. So it is not completed. That's why we do not have end time yet. So we should click this get batch run data again. Back. Yeah. After a few minutes, we should click on the get batch run data again, that button again.
Yes, it obviously it's running a batch job, so it's not going to be instantaneous. But it's just one question. You'd think it would be faster. So yeah, and normally you're going to have hundreds or thousands of questions in here. But what we'll show when we come back is we'll show how you can see the result here in the test bench, and then what we'll do is we'll actually remove the document. Actually, we can't do that. Well, I guess we could. We still have, if we remove the document, the QA set will still be there, right? So
No, the QSS associated with the documents will be removed if we remove the documents.
Sorry. Yeah. So how could we test show the this failing? So I'm guessing it's going to succeed, and we'll get more details of why it succeeded, and we'll be able to drill down on it.
Yeah, it is taking more time. I don't know why. Because it looks like OpenAI is not working as it should be today. After that failure earlier today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, while we're waiting for that, we got a question from Benjamin. So it looks like you've been answering these questions, Hillary.
Not Benjamin's. Benjamin said, so it's currently one or the other. You can't have the specific questions curated and have the LLM do others.
That's a great idea for a feature. Maybe we could have some kind of support for both, but we don't have that right now. Okay. Yeah, and the kind of thinking here, and it's very early days thinking. Well, we've had this fact kill switch for probably a year now. But the thinking is that, something terrible happens, like OpenAI releases a new model and it's just not working very well. And you have to, you can't switch to another model, so you just want to back off to your frequently asked questions with the known good answers, right? So that's kind of was the original inspiration for this. But I can imagine a situation where you use it in a more nuanced way, right, based on the documents. That's a great idea. Maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, my thought is that, okay, you have these set of like specific FAQ questions that you want these specific answers for, but maybe there's other information in your set of documents that you just want it to kind of come up with its own
Oh,
answers
I see.
and
Yeah,
do
that's
as
better
kind of
idea.
free flowing. Yeah,
I mean, so you're basically saying that these are the total ground truth, 100% FAQs, and then after they've exhausted those, then go to the documents and come up with whatever you got. That's a
exactly.
great
Yeah.
idea. That's a great idea. We should definitely take a note on that. I'm taking a note right now on that. Any other questions for me? FAQ as documents.
It looks like we encounter an issue for this patron. It won't get completed.
Okay. Well, we tried. We obviously, if we didn't have a demo failure, you wouldn't know we were doing it live. Okay, so is there some way to show this later, Sonia? Like, I really would like to show them how to debug stuff in the test bench.
Yeah, I can do it from my account, but yeah, for this instance, we will have to like manually modify the status of this patron because it won't get changed because we had some issue in the backend because of the responses, I think, from OpenAI
Okay.
or some other internal issues. But yeah, this patron won't be completed. So yeah, we'll have to freeze start another patron.
Sorry,
For that,
everyone.
we'll have to manually change the status of this patch test.
Thanks. Okay, we're gonna go forward and get back to the slides. Hillary, I mean, I assume that we could go to your slides. We could try mine again. Oh, it's faster now. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the slide for the lab. We've got a couple slides to describe what you just saw here. I got some explanations to do. And then we're going to do lab 3. So, yeah, so we talked about the differentiators here. Is this the right? Okay. Okay, I guess we had, yeah. So we didn't really talk about this slide yet. So let's come back to this for a second. So, yeah, we've already talked about this again and again, but I'll just want to once again underline the fact that you've got this form-based app, which makes it easier for you to configure and deploy, customize. The test bench gives you a way to measure results. We'll show more about that hopefully with Sanjo's account in Lab 3. And this fact mode. And we need to probably augment the fact mode based on Ben's idea to present fact questions as even more ground truth than the documents, which I think is an interesting idea. We need to look at the ramifications of that, Ben, but I think that's a great idea. Similarity score, we have a slide in that. I'll be showing you in a second. This slide is out of order for some reason. And then OpenAI Assistant, I mentioned that the accuracy is better, context. And then the other thing about OpenAI Assistant that you don't get with other RAG systems is it will actually try to respond to general questions sometimes. So if you like ask it, who is Jeff Bezos, it actually might respond. We've had some testing results where it shows that. Okay, so I'm just going to, I think we missed the slide that I wanted to show you. Did the slide get deleted? Where did that slide go?
I don't think any slides have been deleted. What slide are you looking for?
Well, we had this great slide showing the difference between
the similarity score stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's slide 26.
Why isn't that showing up here? Is that just because it's so far ahead and I haven't got there? Okay, sorry everyone. Yeah,
Patrick,
so
from the slideshow tab, you can click on the slideshow tab on the ribbon and then select current slide, present from current slide. From current slide and left. Right there.
Thanks. Hey, I figured it out. Thanks to you, Mel.
You're welcome.
Okay, so how are we actually computing these accuracy scores? basically what we're doing is we've created this system ourselves. And this is kind of crude and it's kind of embarrassingly simple. But I'm just going to describe it to you because it works really well. Basically, what it is it's a system that assigns a score. It's kind of like your letter grades, A, B, C, D, F, right? But we've assigned a numerical score to the answer if it matches the short answer. And then what we're doing is we're asking the OpenAI assistant to compare the answer that's generated with the known good answer on file and to score it, right? And of course, we tried this with Gemini and Claude and GPT-4o and OpenAI Assistant and everything. Very extensive work. The previous best model was Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which had a 66%. This is just for 300 questions. There were a sample that I'm using for this. Obviously, it really depends on your document set, but in general, the OpenAI assistant is about this. I guess we call this 7 percentage points better than Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Now, what's interesting is it doesn't get that many perfect scores. The coloring is confusing here because it's using different coloring. But yeah, this one, the Claude system doesn't get any perfects, but the OpenAI only gets a few. Yeah, but it gets very close to being right, and much better than the previous systems. And so that's one of the reasons why we're using it. But we're using a prompt that actually has the language model doing the evaluation, okay, which is pretty common these days. But the one difference that we have is we've got this silly, simple 5-tier scoring system that we're using, and we ask customers to curate their question answer sets. And those are the two key things that enable this to actually work well. Okay, so let's go to Lab 3. For Lab 3, we're actually going to show how to use the test bench to actually debug an issue with your document. So let's say you've got a question that's returning something that's just totally wrong. And you can go in and change the document to fix it and then rerun it. So that's what we're going to show is how to curate your documents. So the key thing here is well, to show how to debug questions that are wrong, to give the wrong answer. So when the chat presents a question that gives you a wrong answer, we can show you how to debug it. And I think, Simon, you're presenting this. Are you ready?
Yeah. So what we will be doing here is that we will add a document that we know of, that we have idea of, that we have knowledge of, and we'll create a QA set, and we'll add a answer, wrong answer, in a QA set for that document, and we will run a batch run. And what we expect is that our system to generate a correct answer for it from referencing to the document. And in the similarity score, we expect to see a lower similarity because in a QA set we have said wrong answer, and after that we'll go and modify the QA set again, and we'll put the correct answer in the QA set and rerun the batch run, and this time we expect to see this score getting improved. And so for that, I will be logging into this test bench, and I've already logged in here, and I've added one document here for my account here, which is related to Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. So use this document because it will be easy for me to create one QA set. So I've already created one QA set, and as an answer, I'm saving a wrong answer for now, and we'll create a Facebook. I'm putting in Elon Musk. So yeah, I'll just leave it as it is right now. So what you could do here is that you could add a QA set, put your question, put your answer as of your choice, or you could put answer, generate answer with LLM. So I'll just Who is responsible for Facebook? I'll present this question and I ask LLM to generate an answer for this. So for this question, we'll save a correct answer. So answer have been generated by LLM, and you can see that that's given detailed answer here. We'll save it, and the QSet are now saved. And we'll go back to this test bench where we run our batch runs. We'll click on the start batch run. There's only one batch run previously I ran with the wrong answers. That's why I had similarity 0. So I'll select the document. I only have one document. I could just use all documents. So I'll run the batch run. Okay, it asked me to enter a description. Test batch run. This batch run has started. So we have two questions. It should take not more than 1 minute, but as we earlier saw with mail, because OpenAI is like it's responding not in a good way today. We got some issues there. I expect it to be completed in few minutes. Yeah, it is completed now, but the similarity score is really low here, and it is because one of the question answer is wrong that we have set for QSets. You can see that for one question we got similarity score of 0, and for the other where we set correct answer in the QSet, we got similarity score of 0.8. So we'll go to this one by one. So for this question, so this was the question, who created a Facebook? The answer that was generated by our system is this. This is correct answer. And the answer that we have saved in a QSet, which our system treat as a ground truth, is Elon Musk. So our system did the similarity check between these two answers, and it found out that the similarity between these two answers was 0. So what it could sense here is that there is something wrong in our system. Either the document is wrong or our QSet is wrong. In this case, our QSet is wrong. And for this question, we have both answers pretty much similar. 0.8 is highly similar. So next thing that we'll do to fix this problem is that we'll go back to our QSets. So we know that the document is not wrong. So the next thing that could be wrong is the QSets. And upon looking into this question and answer, we know that the answer is definitely wrong, right? So we will update the answer and put in the correct answer now. And we'll go again back to the test bench. And we'll again run the batch, start batch. We'll again, this time we'll only run with, we have only one document and 2 cases, so it doesn't matter. Retesting.
Are they going to be able to run these documents? I mean, they're not going to have the same issue that they'll have, right?
So yeah, I think maybe that issue was random occurrence from OpenAI.
I see.
So because I have been able to run the test, I expect Trini to be able to run this, but because I have been seeing some random responses from OpenAI today, they might encounter some issue, but they should be able to run this and get response. Yeah, so we can see that the average similarity score has improved here because we got better similarity score or improved similarity score even for this question now. So this is one of the scenario where we could debug our regress in our system. So there could be some other scenarios where we have wrong documents and our system was not able to find right document to generate an answer. And in the QA set, we have correct answer and we get lower similarity score. And in those cases, we could just go back to the document section here and find the document that is wrong, right? And we could just update the wrong document with the correct ones. So we could do that. And
what about for the case where there's multiple documents returned? I know you have only one document here, but like the precision. Can you talk a little bit about precision and the situation we have sometimes where a lot of documents will match the query?
Yeah. So I don't think I can like log into the support portal test bench. So if you could like log into support portal test bench, we could look into that. But yeah, so
Can you just go to the test bench for the support portal here?
Yeah. So for that, I'll need to get the codes from.
Okay, let me do it then.
Support portal. The codes will be sent to the support at qDabra.com, and I'll have to like log out and get codes from.
Hillary, can you log in and show this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. Because I know you're our chief support portal curator, and we just added a whole bunch of new PowerPoint slides.
Yeah, and Lab 3 also discusses about the things that I just showed in the demo. Yeah.
Okay, one second, and I'll share
Why is
out.
that? Why is that relevant, Savio? Why did you mention that?
Yeah, so training will follow the Lab 3 document, right?
Well, I really want to talk about precision and what happens when a query returns multiple documents, and because we didn't show that in the test bench, and that's actually really cool. I mean, there a lot of the times what we've seen is we get a lot of about I don't want to say a lot, but the largest portion of errors are from bad questions or bad answers. So the question can be too generic, like what are forms or something like that. So if you go into the batch runs here, Hillary, you're going to see Tokyo. Just click on that first one. 320, yeah, the top. This is a couple weeks ago, and just click on the question. So we sort these by similarity score so that the admins can actually quickly see the stuff that didn't work. So let's just take the first one, 41. So in here, you can see the retrieval precision was 0. So the generated answer and then the original answer. I'm trying to look at this here. So it's got the actual document reference in the generated answer. It almost looks like this one is a bad original answer.
Mm-hmm. It does, because it's talking about the DBXL name token, and this is asking, well, this question is asking a specific requirement.
You can see it couldn't find any documents at all, I think. Is that true, Samuel? Because precision is 0, right? Like, just go ahead and retest the query.
So there could be like two scenarios here. The first one is it is not able to reference any document at all, right? And the second is the reference document that it referenced was not for this QA set, so that's why the precision is low or 0.
Oh, I see. I see. So the question is associated with the document, and that one wasn't returned, so that's why the precision is 0. But that doesn't explain why the score is 0, because it looks like I need to read this in detail here, but Hillary, did you already do that? I mean, is the answer correct?
The original answer, well, look, the question is vague. Without looking at the documentation, I'm not sure, but I believe the specific requirement would have been that
Yeah,
it's installed on a machine that's part of a
very
domain. So
vague.
I believe the
It's
generated
very
answer
vague.
is correct and the original answer is bogus.
But this is a great example of a bad question, a bad query, because it's too vague. You know, it's like
Yeah.
specific requirements. Like, it could be
Yeah,
lots of things.
it's
Right?
very vague.
So let's go to the next one. Let's just look at a couple of these just to show people
You
kind of.
bet. Yeah, let me just X that out and here we go. Recommended approach for choosing a site for, and these again, these are from DBXL installation instructions. So it's down in the minutia. This is actually the original, you know, this is outdated. The generated answer is
From 2.9. So
the
maybe it's
generated answer
because
is correct. This is outdated document. This is
that would be a
probably
bad
from some
answer.
outdated. Yeah, bad
Bad
answer.
answer. Okay. So let's go one more.
You bet.
I'm trying to find the one that has
This
multiple.
was what this again really what is the topic discussed in this document? Okay. So this is the Artificial Intelligence Series Part 1 Qdabra webinars from 2023 blah blah.
Well, but the problem here is that we're not getting any retrieved documents on the right. I mean, shouldn't we be seeing the retrieved documents on the right, Sonia? Or is this a limitation of OpenAI?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem. It's a limitation of OpenAI. Yeah, that's right. Because we switched from React to OpenAI, so we're not going to see the. Yeah, but anyway, there are situations where you got kind of three key scenarios here. One is bad query. Two, bad answer. We've seen both of those. Three, too many documents returned. And so it has to figure out, it chooses the wrong document as the reference. This happens a lot in React. It doesn't happen as much in OpenAI Assistant, which is why it probably scores so much better. But in that situation, then you have to figure out why the question is getting that document, old version of DBXL or something, right? Old document from DBXL, which is not current. And then what you would do is you would go in and you would either remove that document or you would add text to that document saying, please don't return this for this question. You would kind of create an exclusion list. Okay, any questions on this lab?
Svetlana was asking about the facts. If you're using the facts, if a user has a slightly different question than the initially created question, does the system recognize that it's a question? Does the system recognize the question? I mean, my experience in the support portal has been that my questions they can't be a trash fire, but they can be pretty close. And I get an answer if there's a document out there that matches, but then we're not using it in fact mode. Where we're just using the facts, right?
Yeah, hey, it's great to have you here, Svetlana. Yeah, we don't, when we're in fact mode, this kind of doesn't make any sense because the fact mode is really just tuned to those frequently asked questions. It's not going to go beyond those, although we could implement something like Ben was suggesting earlier, where we kind of create a hybrid solution.
But the question doesn't have to be exact. Like if my question was, do opossums sleep in the day?
I think it does in fact mode.
Does it have to be exact?
It has to be exact, yeah.
Wow.
No, dude, are you still there?
The
Sorry,
question
so
don't
do
have
you
to
have an
be
answer?
exactly the same. It could be very similar.
Okay. Is that because? Yeah, that's because we're using an embedding database for the question and answer sets, and so when we're just searching that embedding database for a similar question, right? So that's why it doesn't have to be exact, right?
Yeah. So we are using the similarity score provided by Pinecone. Yeah.
So let's create that possum question and just quickly verify that. Mel, can you pull up your solution again and create a random opossum frequently asked question for your document about opossums?
I think opossum facts are probably going to be the best. Yeah, we definitely want opossum facts.
Are there opossums in Manila, Mel?
No.
There's strange possums in different parts of the world. Like in Australia, the possums actually don't look as scary as in North America. In North America, the opossums just look like yeah, just like is that thing really alive? It's like they're just so alien. But in Australia, they're fat and kind of cuddly. So
Just
yeah,
ask.
why? Just ask it. Why are the possums different in Australia? Is that the right question, Hillary? Sorry.
I think that's a perfectly fine question.
Yeah, I haven't created any answers to what it does. It's using Claude to create these, so it's not going to be. Um, yeah, so it's going to say apologies, right? So go ahead and remove that answer, Mel. And wait, hold on. It did say anything. It said the file. Here's right. Yeah. So let's just say what are the possums doing this way? They eat more healthier food. This is the answer. I'm just making this up, obviously. Okay, so to save that, go into fact mode, and then just you're going to ask it in fact mode just to satisfy Svetlana's awesome question. Is what about the possums down under? And don't put an O before possum. Just say what about, because they don't use O in Australia for possums. So what about the possums down under? I think down under is Australia, right? Is that right, Hillary? Have you been to the
It seems like
grand
down
land?
under should depend on where you are, but yeah, I think try that. Let's give it a shot.
There's got to be another name for Australia.
Oh,
Oh,
you could ask about what about no, well, that's the exact same
what about
question.
the
Can we try it
possums? Just
slightly? Let's try something slightly different. Wow. Why are possums different or something? Let's just at
yeah,
least drop the
just
Australia.
yeah, drop the
Sorry,
Australia.
Mel, you're trying to like do this demo and we're just like type
Yeah, no
this, type
problem.
that.
Sorry to make you a
Woohoo,
dumb
they eat
emoji.
healthier food. So that's not exactly the same as your QA.
I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong because it's better this way. Yeah, it kind of explains the whole Pinecone embedding database that we're using for these query answer sets. So the query answer sets are not stored in LLMs. Even if you're using OpenAI Assistant, we do those on our server, which would be your server because you deploy it completely separately. And then if you wanted to go completely off the grid, you would have a different LLM instead of OpenAI Assistant, and your accuracy wouldn't be as high. But of course, over the next year or so, we're going to have super high accurate models that are off the grid. So you're not going to have to worry about that. The pace of change is still we still haven't inflected on the exponent, even though a lot of people are saying the hype cycle is over. I don't believe it is. I think that intelligence is just computation across Turing machines, with time. Those are the three variables. If you have enough energy to do the computations, and you have the patterns, the Turing machines, and you have time, you can compute anything. Obviously, there might not be answers for certain questions, but I don't think that the scaling law has been exhausted at all at this point. So, any questions on this lab 3? Very short lab, quick demo from Samyon. I think the bottom line is that we have. Let's just go back to the slides for a second. Sorry. Thanks, Mel. Yeah, so I think that we're going to take a break here, and then Hillary's going to, she's going to be your caretaker at the end to ask you questions. Maybe you'll spend some time on the labs, and then we'll ask these questions. And yeah, and then we've got day 4 tomorrow, and we'll talk about that later. But I'm going to log off. It's 2 a.m. here, 2:09. So just want to give you the opportunity to ask me a question before I do that about this stuff. Just to summarize, the test bench is really a key component of this. Right now, it's a lot cheaper than it was at the beginning of the year. So if you're thinking, okay, well, I've got 2,000 documents like Misty has, and I want to generate 20 QA sets on average per document. Well, that's 40,000 QA sets. Okay, well, what's that going to cost me? And we did the math on this, I think, beginning of the year, and let's say, for our 1,000 support portal documents, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. So we have a support portal that incorporates this. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But I think that we had calculated it's gone down by an order of magnitude. So if it was $1,000, or it was probably $4,000 to do that, to generate a full set of QA sets in February of this year, then it would now be roughly $400 to do that. And this is going to continue. So pretty soon the QA set generation cost will be zero almost, or very cheap. So that's the number one cost when you're setting this up. The other cost is the inference. So when we do the QA sets, we're generating the synthetic QA sets that you're going to use for your measurements. So that's not really called training. That's just stuff that you do to build your system, to configure it. But the real, where the rubber hits the road is when people are using it, and that's actually a lot cheaper. So it's not anywhere near the same cost because the number of tokens are so small. And so I wouldn't worry too much about the cost, but you're definitely going to be spending hundreds of dollars a month if you're using one of these online LLMs. So that's kind of a rough order of magnitude. With the with the caveat that at the very beginning there will be an upfront cost to get the QA sets generated, so that you have a bench that you can use. But it's not going to be that big a deal. So maybe it's going to be $500 or $1,000 up front, and then a couple $100 a month to run it. We're going to relinquish the API keys in a couple days, and you'll have to use your own API keys to set up your qDocChat. That's the only cost, is the API keys for the model that you choose. Different models have different costs, by the way, and they're all coming down significantly. So that like, once again, the trend is that knowledge, this intelligence inference stuff will be really cheap, if not zero. So I just want to end with that thought. No one else we've seen has a test bench like we do for debugging this stuff. And that's shocking because we're such a small company. I'm sure there's something out there, but we haven't seen it, and we've been looking pretty hard. The other stuff is also a huge benefit to you: ease of deployment, ease of customization. There aren't other tools, like even Copilot doesn't provide this kind of an ease of deployment and customization options, which is shocking that Microsoft can't do it because they've got OpenAI, right? Anyway, any comments or questions for me before I leave? No feedback?
All right, thank you so much for staying for this, and trainees, thank you so much for letting us just go ahead and blast through the demo so we can get Patrick offline and back to bed.
Yeah. And thanks, Hillary, for doing such an awesome job with the voiceover. And also, I want to thank Samyong for all of his efforts over the last year and a half working on this solution, and
absolutely,
Mel as well.
and
So
Mel.
those two,
Oh my gosh,
those two have been instrumental in this, and it's been quite a journey, and it's not over yet. So I really appreciate your feedback, Ben. We're definitely going to look hard at what you said. Have a great day, everyone.
Okay.
Take care.
Yeah, get some rest, Patrick. And okay, everybody. So I am more than happy to stay for a while and help with labs. Samyog, I think, can stay and give us a hand if needed. Almel's been putting in some pretty long hours getting some things prepared, so she may need to drop off. We had a couple people who had some troubles with Lab 1. I believe it was Allie and Sharon. If you two are okay with it, I had Mel add you to her site instance, and she included a link in the chat, and that might allow you to go through at least some of the other lab steps, even though we're having this challenge getting your instance set up. Does that sound okay to you too?
So with that, should we do the labs in that form? Should we download them and re-up? I'm not sure. Why does that help, I guess is the question.
Oh, well, maybe it doesn't. Yeah, I guess I was just thinking that you would be able to, try adding some QA sets to something that existed there,
Okay.
or you could go through some of the steps of uploading some documents. It wouldn't have to be the ones that were provided or were already there. You could upload one of your own documents and
Okay.
give that a try. So I'm telling you, you've got free access to play a little fast and loose with the labs and just use Mel's instance to sort of mess around and we'll consider your labs completed, right? Does
Okay.
that sound fair? Just because and we could try seeing why you're getting that error, if you don't mind filling that form out again. Mel, are you up to having her screen share and show the dev tools so we can maybe see what's going wrong?
Yeah, we can check, but we can check the console, but it can get messy.
Yeah,
I
and
took
so
some,
then
I took some screenshots before if you just want me to like email those over to you.
well, if you don't mind screen sharing so we can actually see what's going on
Sure.
the back side of the form a little bit. And that I'm guessing that whatever challenge you're having is the same one Sharon's having. And then, yeah.
Probably the same error. I'm not going to be able to, because I have like another call on that day too, so I'm not going to be able.
Okay, I think you said you need to get on another call. That's perfectly fine. No worry. And we'll just have Allie show us what's happening for her. Allie, before you click that save button, we're going to have you show the dev tools.
Which
Yeah,
is
so you've got yeah, and I think you'll have to finish filling this out, right? Let's see, we need
that over here. That one.
Like you haven't already filled it out a bunch of times, yeah.
You know, that's fine though. And I've got that here. That.
Okay, don't click yet.
Okay.
So let's go and hit Mel, the network tab?
Yeah, you see the very small eye icon in your lower left corner, bottom corner in your form? Yeah, that one. Click on that for me and then click on this button that says toggle debug under form logic. Yeah, right there. That will help us further debug. See more. Okay, and then here in the console, I guess is where we want to look at console. Hillary, would you like to send her that line of code where we can check
Do
the
you need
main
to
data
see
source?
main data source? Okay, so I'm really glad we're showing this. This is a tool I use all the time. Sometimes when you're working on forms, there's a lot of stuff going on that you can't actually see in your data sources, but we can give you, but there is a way to check what's going on there. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry, Benjamin asked a question about signing off. Please, everybody who's done, don't feel like you need to stay. We can certainly do a touch base tomorrow and see how everybody's doing. No need to stay while we debug labs. All right, so Allison, Allie, let's copy
Just
this
Allie.
out.
Yeah, just Allie.
Yes, sorry. All right, so I pasted in the chat a little line, and it's right up above Chris's stuff. There you go, perfect. And we'll just copy that.
And where do we put this?
You're going to put it in console. Do you see where your cursor is flashing in the console down at the bottom there?
Okay.
Paste. Now you may have to go ahead and paste it, and there we go. Do you see how it says blah blah? Please type allow pasting below. So you're going to have to actually type the words allow pasting and hit enter.
Oh, it didn't. Okay, there we go. Allow pasting.
Okay, and enter. And now try pasting the line again.
Paste. Okay.
Okay. All right. Now, you see how there's a little triangle next to the document? You can just expand that by clicking on it. And now this is your main data source. So, Mel, what field are we looking for here?
Yeah, I'd like to scroll a little bit down and expand the configuration, the first node right there. Yeah. And here I'm looking at the site admin line because on mine, I do have, you see the site admin where it says your name, email, and your site admin ID. I think the site admin ID needs to be in a GUID format, and it only does that when because this system is automatically creating a user account for you if it's your first time opening a form and you're not in the system yet. So I think it's just not recognizing your account for some reason, so failing to create that user account. Yeah, what we might be able to do, I'm thinking, is to maybe temporarily create a GUID format site admin ID, maybe. Should I try
Okay,
that?
so what we're missing is we're missing the site admin ID, and that's supposed to be a GUID.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So down where it says qrules command, Allie, in the debug section.
Yep.
Go ahead and just type where it says command capital letter G, and then it's the word generate. So generate.
Oh, with.
Sorry. Yeah, the capital letters for the generate. Sorry, generate.
Okay.
And then no spaces, capital G, lowercase UID. Yeah, you're on the right track. And hit tab. There we go. And let's copy that GUID and let me give you another command here. Uno momento. We're going to do a set value command. Copy XPath. I'm going to type this into chat. Set value XPath equals value equals. Okay, typed into chat. And so you're going to paste what I've got there in front of that GUID. Mel, is this what you were thinking?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
And so let's just, yeah, we want no space there between the value and the GUID, the equal and the GUID. So we'll just get rid of whatever is, there we go. So we're going to copy that. We're going to go paste that in the command field. And that's going to set our main data source field, hopefully, fingers crossed, unless I mess something up. Okay, and so now over in the console area again, we'll just scroll down underneath our document, and you are going to paste that same line again, the forms viewer dot get instances, etc. And we're going to check our main data source again.
Just hit up on your arrow on your keyboard and go back up.
There you go. Perfect. And expand document. We're looking for the same thing, so we're going to expand configuration and site admin. Okay, so now we have an ID.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
So now she should be able to click save, right?
Yeah, let's try. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Oh, instance ID not provided. Okay, no love for us. Okay.
Let's see the possible errors that happen there. Scroll down your console and see if there's something new. Nothing. Yeah, let's scroll down in the debug section on your footer on your actual form.
Over here.
Yeah, scroll all the way down. Let's look for any error message here. It's going to be towards the, start from the bottom and scroll, go up.
Scrolling up. Okay.
There you go.
There's our instance ID is not provided on our make request. Okay. And so what's up above that?
Actually, that instance ID, that user ID need to be created in a qDocChat node here. So creating a GUID here, I don't think it would work.
But the instance ID
make some API request to create a user when a new user is like opening this form, right? I think you are using one API to create a user, and I think you are using that user ID from database, not generated here.
Okay, so okay.
I see. So if the initial call to create the user failed for some reason, okay, so I'm going to have you do one more thing for me because I'm just. Go ahead.
Sorry, this is the create LLM's body API method. Let's scroll up some more to see maybe there's a first error. Yeah, right here, create LLMs is failing too because all of these are apparently missing the instance ID at this point. So scroll up to where it began failing. So I see remote error. User not found. So it really has something to do, I'm thinking, with the user account.
Oh, my mouse is not cooperating.
Okay, from here, let's scroll down little by little. I think we generated a grid, something after this. And create instance body. This succeeded. Instance admin ID. There is an admin ID, Samyog, and I think that's the grid that we passed. We generated manually. Can you see that in the result?
Yeah. So manually generating would not work.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then if you scroll down some more, what happened after that? Okay. What do you suggest we do? What probably have? Why is it not generating the correct instance admin ID for do you have any idea?
There should be one API used to create a user. Right. How do you get instance admin ID? From where do you get that instance admin ID for the cases where it works?
qDocChat that.
I think you fetch it from database somewhere.
It's probably from the create users API, automatically returned from creating the user. Al, can you do a search in your browser here? Control F. Hit Control F and do user. And there are 24. Try, let's. Yeah, just keep going until we see the create user API method failing somewhere. Keep going. Okay, here, create user. First name, invalid data. Required fields are first name, last name, or can you scroll up for me a little? There's phone number missing. It is not required. This is first name, last name. There is no first name. There is no last name.
Yeah, there's no first name or last name.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I wonder if I can address that on the SharePoint side, right? Is this, it would be on the SharePoint side? Sorry, I don't know.
Or if you manually set first name and last name instead of the ID that we did before.
Okay. And so you're suggesting we manually set first name and last name where? Where are you getting that data from?
We might need to call this create user API even after we did that and thinking if that will resolve the issue. Maybe not.
I'm going to see if I can set her first name and last name.
Yeah, in Active
in
Directory.
In SharePoint. Yeah, in SharePoint.
User profile.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Or yeah, hey, maybe she can. My account, let's see. Oh, Delve will stop working on December 16th, 2024. Well, I didn't have this go to Delve. Why can't I edit? Okay, let me go to Intra ID and see what I can do here. Because I'm guessing you're going to be in our SharePoint users or Intra ID. And you and Sharon, I used your external.
Yeah, which is why when I did over here the Q&A chat app, I set it up as Smoky Mountain Girl instead of Allie Roberts.
Yeah, and Mel, we had thought that okay, manage contact information. First name. Yeah. Okay, almost there. So she gets to do this again. Yeah, she needs to reopen and start over.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Well, we
Okay.
need to at least take a look if we're successfully able to create a user for her before she fills out for the
Okay.
for the end.
All right. Well, I've got her contact information filled out in the admin stuff. So if you refresh this, I don't know how long this takes. There you go. I mean, we've got a little information coming in.
I like it.
I got your job title.
Nice.
No,
I
got your first name, your last name. I set your job title appropriately, and I gave you an appropriate department too, just so you know. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go back and look at my users here in my training members and see if it's showing you with the first name and last name yet too. So yeah, on SharePoint, I don't see it showing your first and last yet. It's interesting.
Microsoft Speed.
I know,
Always.
I know. We got that job title in, right? We got that job
mean,
title in.
that's the most important one, right?
But we're not getting any further. I go to view your profile and it doesn't show your first and last name yet. Interesting. I'm gonna double check this. Yeah, so I see it's the display name. So your display name isn't using the first and last name. I think we might be, I think we might be okay. It does show, because your display name I didn't change. I don't think I can change that though. Yeah, I can't, maybe I can. Oh, I can. Let me change your display name too, and then I'll feel more comfortable that this is actually listening to me. All right, so I just changed your display name. I'm like refreshing incessantly.
There he goes.
Yeah?
Yep, so now it says Allie.
With your appropriate job title. Okay, yep. Mel, what should she do now?
All right, great. Well, let's open a new session in her qDocChat. Click to that. If she wants to refresh the current session, that's okay too. And admin, I'm expecting her name already showing up here. But let's show the debug section again, clicking on that icon in the lower left, and let's search for user again, please. Control F and then user. There's user body. Let's
user body.
Yeah, make our life easier right there. So it's still not coming up so far. No first name, last name still.
Okay. So how do you, well, I'm sorry, it's a lot to ask right now.
Would that be over here where the admin name just says this?
No, based from my testing, I didn't see anything that is relevant to this initial setting. It's really getting your currently logged in account information to set as an admin here, if you're the only user in the site, in the system. So I'm going to check how we're creating that user, set the values from SharePoint.
Well, clearly my job is just to make everything as hard as possible for you guys.
Well, and we appreciate it. And Benjamin, I'm not talking behind his back. Benjamin's job is to ask all the good questions, and your job is to have all the challenging bugs. I mean, I think we all have roles to play. Although Sharon also had this challenging bug, and yes. So I do think it's because you're our two external users that are not using your work accounts, right? Because of your fun and special
Limitations.
work situation. Yeah.
Okay, so let's search for get user profile. Sorry, that was fast, but just get user maybe. All right, let's see. So it took your user.
Oh, I'll just say one thing. It's definitely related to, what your profile is linked to and blah, blah, blah. Because I
Yeah.
have to have multiple profiles set up depending on which company I'm working for. Otherwise, it gets all sorts of confused. And even then, sometimes it gets confused. Just so you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
From there, it would have set your name and your email that is stored in form logic. So we might want to take a look at form logic.
Is it named form logic?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's another fun console line. This is why I'm going to paste this in the chat. This is why I like being able to use these to debug. So hopefully the console won't make you type allow pasting again, but I've given you another line in chat. There it is. So you guys, syntax here, we're saying forms viewer get instances, instance 0. Instances is an array. We only want the first one. Data sources get data source. You can see this one says form logic. The earlier one didn't have anything in get data source. You don't have anything, you get back main. So you hit enter here, and now you're going to see the current state of the secondary data source in the form, right? And so when you are debugging, everything's a teaching moment with me. When you are debugging, this gives you the opportunity to go see what current values are. So this would be under values, right, Mel?
It's going to be under actions and then set user info.
Oh, okay. All right. Set user info. Right there. We've got name, email.
Okay, she got the name, she got the email, and then.
Do you want to see the data coming back from her profile?
Yeah, but those are already, the name and the email, they are already coming from.
But is that where first and last name come from too?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm going to check next. So now we know that we're setting name and email from those. Get user profile, and it seems to be working. Here. Now if we look under values and then current user.
Do you see it says role is user and it is admin is false?
Oh yeah. I think I'm not using it as admin anymore. Just the role equals admin or role equals user. So now get users for site and then set user ID and role. Oh, it should have set her as admin at this point. Oh, this is hard to look right on the fly. If you want to check the form logic rules with me too, Hillary, it's going to be in form logic and then set current users what I'm looking at.
Okay, I'm going to get Josh the test bench URL, and then I will do that. Okay. All right. And you are looking at form logic. When and where are you setting first and last name?
Right. Sorry, I haven't looked into that yet. Create user. If you look at the actions, create user. Yeah, right there. Because that's what's calling the API.
From SharePoint. Okay. And what data connection is this coming from? The users list. Set values from user profile. Oh. So do you think, I see. Okay. I see. So you've got two approaches here. One is
Yeah.
to set it from the SharePoint user list if it's there, and the other is to set it from the user profile service if it's not. Okay, so we'll try this first, Ali. Let me just paste in the right line. And this is going to be users list. Okay, so let's try this first and see if you have data back from that so I can tell which logical path this
I
has
haven't.
taken. Okay, great. And we'll enter and expand document. And we're gonna, okay, we don't have any data fields back, so we didn't get any rows back from the user list. So then we're gonna try this next line. 1 second.
So
We
I'm
can
setting
also,
first name and last name with substring before the space, but her information doesn't have a space.
I changed her display name just a little bit ago, so I just want to see. Okay, I pasted another line in. Yeah, I saw that you were getting from before and after the space, and I just want to see what we've got going on here. So yeah, let's expand this guy. You're a trooper, Ali. Thank you. And we're going to expand data fields and just keep expanding. All right, we're looking for our first and last name property. They're in here somewhere. And okay, that's your account name. And then you were getting these from, wait, you're not getting first and last name, you're getting them from substring before current username. Oh, wait a second. Okay, my bad. All right, so could you scroll back up for me? Sorry. And let me double check this one more time. Current username. So we're looking for the form logic one again. So we know it was not using from SharePoint user list. So let's just go ahead and scroll up. We're looking for the form logic one again. Up, up, up. There we go. And we are getting it from values name. So this is still showing the name as not having a space. So
That's
here's
what I
what's
think.
going wrong. Yeah, the name doesn't have a space and you're getting before and after the space to do the first and last name. But I updated her, and name comes from get
Preferred
user
name.
profile.
The key preferred name.
Preferred name?
Yeah. She had
Is
a file.
preferred name the same as display name?
They should be different. There is a different node for preferred name versus display name and user profile. I'm using preferred name.
Okay. I do not have a place here for preferred name. I will go put that in. Let me go find the SharePoint Admin Center. Is anybody else stuck on labs? Please holler if you are. And user profiles. Okay, I found the user profiles. And let me go find some preferred name fields when this loads. User profiles. I mean, this is good because we found a place where this could be made more robust, and I think that's excellent.
Yeah.
Edit my profile. I mean, like, what if a single name, a person who just uses one name? Like, what if Madonna starts using this? Then what are
I
you
was
gonna
going to say
do?
Madonna.
Like, what are you gonna do, Mel, if Madonna starts using this?
Or worse,
Or
what if
Con
it's the artist formerly known as Prince and he just wants to put in his little symbol?
right? Or what if it's Kanye? And I don't, what were you thinking? Wow, I am not seeing preferred name here. Let me do Control F. I don't know. I think that the labels I get are all I've got for preferred is language preferences. I think the labels they show us here in the profile manager are different from what we see in the app, right? Let me go look and see if somebody on the Google knows.
I think we have seen issues like that between like the Active Directory account and the user profile, where preferred name and display name are like A equals B, but B does not always equal A kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, what I'm finding overall is that the field that corresponds is typically called display name. Like display name is generally the preferred name. So we did update your display name, and I am kind of wondering if we've just hit a lag in this getting updated. Could you just copy, do you see where it says get user profile by name there? Could you just copy that, I'm sorry, down in the debug to the left? Yeah, can you just copy that whole get user profile by name line? Will it let you copy it? Perfect. Copy that and let's scroll up in the debug section. We're just gonna paste it in as a command. So all the way up.
Yeah, my mouse is just not wanting to scroll
They
with the
don't
scroll
like
wheel.
to share. They don't like to share. So when you're sharing in Teams, it's always blah. All right. And so now we'll go over into, it's okay, you did it right.
Okay.
We're gonna go over into our console again and paste in that lastmost line I gave you again. Right, and hit enter. And then we're gonna expand document and we're gonna expand data fields, and we're just gonna keep looking until we get down to our we're gonna go looking for preferred name here. So that's account name. Next one is created. Department. Email. It looks like they might be alphabetical, but I still don't know where it would be. First name is got a value probably, but that's fine. Last name probably has a value. Could you expand values up there on last name? And value data. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll just keep going down. But we're looking for preferred name because that's what we're splitting. So we keep going. Picture. It's going to be next. It's going to be next. It's next. It's next.
It's right there.
Ah, so it's got a right now. Do you suppose maybe it updated while I
Wow. Yeah.
was
Well,
like
during
clicking things around? Yeah.
maybe. So let's
Should we
refresh
just,
here one more time.
yeah, you can close that console stuff there and just go ahead and
Okay.
let's refresh and see if we get anywhere better. Debugging 101. What fun. Okay, Mel, do you need her to check down in the debug section before she goes to any trouble filling things out, or do you want her to check in the console? How do you want her to figure out?
Let's do console first and then do form logic to see her current user information.
Okay, so we're going to do the form logic line from chat. So I'm going to paste it into chat
hit
again.
your
So it's,
up arrow key works until you get to form logic. One more.
We closed. Oh, wow.
There you go. Okay, that's a number.
Too far.
There it is.
Which one?
I thought closing it. Up one. I think it was up one. There you
Right
go.
there.
Form logic is what we want. I thought when we closed
Oh,
it,
okay, I see.
No, it does keep your history.
Nice. We're looking for actions.
Or
Is that right?
Values too.
Values, sorry. Yeah, my bad. Values is where it's coming from. So values, current user. Yeah. So see how your name now has your first name and your last name in the space. So I think we can feel better that this is probably going to work this time.
Okay.
Would you like to do this again?
Did it create the user? I'm thinking for her, which is this time we can check the debug section and look for user body.
Oh, should we do that too? Okay, good idea. Ooh, success.
First name, Allie. Yep.
But down below, we've got an error.
They're still missing role. The role is missing this time. What is up?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, this has been fun. Um, Mel, what do you think? Should she just, like I suggested for her and Sharon, just maybe, do some of the steps
Yeah.
using that instance you made them admins on? Um, I think rather than continue to kind of churn on this, it might be best. We do definitely have something here we need to take a look at. There's something here that's not as
Mm-mm.
robust as it should be. But Allie, you have been an excellent sport, and I think we have tortured you enough.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead and Allie and Sharon, for your portion of completing this training, use Mel's instance that she made you admins on. Be creative. Don't feel like you have to follow those lab steps one to one. What we really want for you to do is get the opportunity to try it, to upload some documents and see how that influences your results, to try the test bench. So just try to engage with the spirit of the lab and not the letter of the lab. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good to me. Thank you very much
All
for
right.
for trying.
Yes, and thank you. And thank you for being such a good sport. And I hope everybody, in the end, I feel like these kinds of challenges when we do start having to do some live debugging, I always feel like that is a worthwhile way to spend a little time because we all kind of get to hone our debugging skills, which wow, generally, I think we all need to hone those. At least I know I do. Before we go ahead and kind of move forward into some wrap up, is anybody else stuck on anything or need a hand with anything? Okay, as always, you know where to find us, right? So this is not a big secret at this point where to get a hold of us. We've been like super clear. Um, okay, so Patrick put together a few little quiz questions for us to talk to. Feel free to speak up or to start adding some stuff into chat. The first question for our kind of summary, our knowledge summary is, what are the benefits that Qdabra Forms enables for the qDocChat application? Does anybody have something they'd like to add as an answer for that? Okay, so I know you guys will speak up if you have something that you would like to say, but in general, one of the great benefits that I think was mentioned and that we could see is that because we are using a forms interface, you guys can change this to suit yourselves. So that is one of the nice things. This is not static. This is not one of those things that you must adopt it as it is. It's kind of the same thing is true with central flows. You adopt these tools and then go ahead and customize them, make them suit your needs and your situation. But, we've got this ability to give you these custom doc chats. And as Patrick was mentioning, if you needed multiples of these for different domains, like you need one thing for your HR group and you need another thing for your folks over in the physical plant, you can just use different configurations in different places, expose them to the people who need them. The next question was about, why do we want to create query and answer sets? And this all comes back to, you guys, I'm not stopping you if anybody wants to jump in, okay? I've noticed so far nobody wants to jump in on these things. Everybody just leaves me, but that's okay. So this whole point about query answer sets is it helps hone your curation. I've been working on our query answer sets specifically for our support portal, which you're going to get to see tomorrow. And it's been a great experience to be able to tune this and really make it better. Like if I see that there's a specific question that I've had support questions on, but that this doesn't answer yet, I create a quick document, I upload it, I add a couple QA sets, and now I know going forward that our doc chat system is going to be able to answer the question. And I can do that with a very kind of minimal understanding of, this tool that Sam Yog and Almel have worked so hard on. I'm able to just kind of come in and say, oh, that document's bad, or that QA set is bad, and adapt things accordingly. If I get feedback from someone that it's giving poor answers, I can go and address things. Kill switch. You guys all remember what that kill switch bit was about? Okay, so our kill switch is the ability to just roll back to FAQ only, FAQ only. So having a problem, LLM's gone berserk, whatever, just push it back to the FAQs, and then we're using specifically only the questions and answers that we have within the system itself. It allows us that opportunity to, have a rollback plan. And a rollback plan is important in most things, right? It allows you to go ahead and keep providing service even if there's an outage. Now, last night, it was briefly mentioned in class, there was a big OpenAI outage, which, poor Alma, she's working so hard on wrapping up this lab, and there's an AI outage, and she's like, is it me? Is it the AI? But yeah, it was ChatGPT having a tantrum. So now this way you can go ahead and flip that switch real quick and continue providing service to your users, even if it is a more limited service. How do you change the LLM that's being used? Well, that was pretty basic from the lab. You can just open up your configuration and change it. As the administrator of this system, you have all of this great control. You can just open it up, make changes, save your changes, and move on about your busy life. So it gives you the opportunity to make different decisions about what and how you are configuring your system. You're never set in stone. As things advance and move forward, as one model becomes more robust and another model maybe becomes less robust, or perhaps one model is better for your specific domain, you're able to just tune these things as needed. The benefits of using OpenAI Assistant over other LLM-based retrieval augmented generation, we have this more sophisticated question and answer capability. Samyang, do you have a more firm answer to question 5 here?
Well, like Patrick earlier mentioned, the most important thing that we offer is the test bench, ability to curate the documents, run the batch runs, and identify any wrongs in the documents or in the QSets, right? And we can also identify the regression in our system if there are wrong documents or old documents added into the system that might affect the answers being generated, right? And
yeah, I appreciate that. Specifically, though, do you have an idea about this question 5? What are the benefits of OpenAI Assistant versus
OpenAI
other LLM?
Oh yes, I think I was answering for our qDocChat against other systems.
Yeah, I
About that.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the most important benefit over typical RAG system is ability to continue a chat, right? And another thing that we observed that we got improvement after we implemented OpenAI Assistant is that it supports different kind of documents, right?
Oh, yeah.
Words, PDFs, and PPTs. Previously, in our RAG system, we only supported PDF documents, so it supports all those kind of things. And after using the OpenAI Assistant, we have been able to add new feature to attach images to our chat, so we could just attach the image and ask question related to it, and OpenAI Assistant would search into the document to find related information related to the images that we just attached or uploaded. And in some cases, it was also able to find the text correctly in the PDFs, embedded in the PDFs. Our RAG system was not able to get answer for those questions that has text embedded in image in the PDF. So OpenAI Assistant solved that problem. So yeah,
Got
these
it.
were some things that we saw improvement with OpenAI Assistant. And the most important thing is continuation of the chat and supporting of multiple documents and recently attachment of images.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, so it's what's providing us with that chat continuity as we're having our discussion. It's what's providing us with this new capacity to upload things other than PDF, and it's what's providing us the ability to look inside of images, including images inside PDFs.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for that additional information. I was kind of lost on that one. And then finally, our last little question, how can doc admins fix chat responses when the wrong reference doc is selected? Well, you can go curate things. You can go improve the QA sets. You could, if you have a bad document, maybe you've got something that's just so out of date you don't want it there anymore, you can remove it. So your document curation process is always going to be important. And I think we know in any system, no matter where you go, we end up with a document curation, being an ongoing challenge. Okay, so that's kind of it for today. Irina, I did note that you had a question about not being, or you're having an issue with saving your instance. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of click through the last of these slides, and then we can talk and see if we might be able to help you. In terms of what your takeaways were, feel free to chat it if you have any specific takeaways. As I did yesterday, I'm going to get the recording sent out to you. Of course, please reach out if you get stuck as you're working through slides. Tomorrow is our last day. And again, I just want to thank everybody for attending and for being such good sports as we work through any little hiccups. Tomorrow, we're going to have Karu here to help show you how to build and implement some of these really creative form features that we've seen from Almel's forms and in some of the other demo forms in the lab. These are things you can add to your forms too, and Karu is going to give you some instruction on that. We're going to walk you through the new support portal so you can get a sense of how we're going to be using qDocChat for our support portal. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about some upcoming App Store changes, and that lab is actually going to be on setting up Qdabra Forms Launcher. So thank you, everybody, for a wonderful day. You'll see an email from me later today with recordings, and we'll just we'll call it a wrap, and I look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. Irina, do you want to let me know a little bit more about what's going on for you with your lab
Yes, I have
issue?
a same problem. I couldn't save. I fill out all settings in the instance and I cannot save it. I
And
had
you're
the
getting that,
same error message,
you're getting
saying
that same error message of
instance
invalidating.
ID not provided. Yeah, even so
Okay.
it is.
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up a test instance as soon as we're off this call. I'm just going to follow the lab steps. I'm going to set up a test instance myself. And I won't do labs 2 or 3. And I will make you an admin on that instance, and I'll send you a link to it. Okay. And so then you can do the lab 2 and 3 on the instance I set up. We've seen that there's been a few problems with naming, like we were seeing with Ali and Sharon. I can definitely see there's some things there that need to be made more robust, but just so you can kind of do the lab work, let me get one set up for you and send it to you. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank
All right.
you.
It will be later today, but I will have it to you before, this afternoon. All
No
right?
problem. No problem.
All
No
right.
rush. Thank
Thank
you
you
so much
so
for your
much for
help.
your patience.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. And again, if anybody gets blocked on something like this where you just absolutely can't complete the step because you've run into a form hiccup or something like that, let's just work on kind of the spirit of the lab and not the letter of the lab. Let me know, and I'll figure out what we can do to get you in a place where you can move forward. Okay? Thank you,
Sounds good.
everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk soon. I so look forward to tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.